Hello there. It is 5 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to get ready for some colder weather that's arriving later today, just in time for Thanksgiving. WSMV4's Stefano DiPietro tells us it's not too bad, though, this morning.
Somewhat on the mild side. It's actually warmer this morning than it will be in some areas this afternoon, but we are going to have calm weather with a decent amount of sunshine today. Little bit of a gusty wind, nothing terrible. Wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour through the afternoon.
59 right now, will be around 53 this afternoon. Buckle up. The Pentagon is now investigating Arizona Senator Mark Kelly for what's being called the Seditious Six video. Retired Navy JAG officer Cully Simpson on Fox News.
Well, they believe that it's possible that Captain Kelly, retired Captain Kelly, who is subject to the UCMJ under Article 2, committed a crime, and so they're going to investigate that. And regardless of whether that proves to be true or not, the fact is that this video undermined good order and discipline. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were essentially wink, wink, nod, nod, telling members of the military that they should reflexively doubt the legality of the commander-in-chief's orders.
Also, the FBI is contacting the other Democratic lawmakers who appeared in that video. Hard to win an election if voters don't even know there is one. Casey Crosby is co-chair of the Republican National Conference, speaking with Matt Murphy yesterday.
I've been privy to some data that, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, people in the district did not even know that there was a special election going on, let alone the date.
So recent polling claims that Republican Matt Van Epps is leading Democrat Aftyn by 8 to 10 points. Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
The Dow pulled markets higher thanks to some new economic data that has investors hopeful for another interest rate cut come December. The Dow added 663 points. The Nasdaq gained 153. The S&P rose 60. One of the reports finds shoppers bought less at retailers in September than economists expected. Another finds confidence among U.S. consumers is getting worse. And a third report shows inflation at the wholesale level was lower in September than what economists thought it would be. On the winning end of the market was Abercrombie & Fitch, which soared 37% after the retailer reported stronger profit for the quarter than what analysts expected. Kohl's also surged 42% after reporting a profit. Analysts were expecting a loss. Tech giants NVIDIA and Advanced Microdynamics both dropped after the information reported that Meta Platforms is in talks to spend billions on AI chips from Alphabet. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Stock futures on the plus side. We've got Dow futures up 85, NASDAQ futures gaining 110, S&P futures are up 22 points. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looking good on the roads this morning. I don't see any big delays so far. You do also have the TDOT workers going on holiday, so no construction zones to have to steer around for the next couple of days at the very least. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Seven WT.
Dan, are you there?
Joan, should we just wait until Sam turns on my mic?
Sure.
I can't fix all the Jackson's mistakes at once.
Oh, yikes.
All right. 5:06 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. Hey, Joan's back, everybody.
Hi there.
So, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling better.
So, Joan thinks that she had the vid.
I do. I think I had the vid.
So, aren't you supposed to be isolating for like 20 days or something like that? Or is that all over with now?
I think they've realized that if you've got the vid, everybody's going to get the vid around you, regardless of what you do. So,
all right. Well, glad you're back.
And hopefully I'm not giving you the vid right now through the radio.
There isn't a Chinese virus yet that can do that, but give it time.
Yeah.
You never quite know.
Look it up. There's always bats to be had.
So, Joan, we're going to do something that I have not done in years.
Oh, no.
Today.
What?
Years.
Okay.
Now, you'll notice that Sam has a really dour look on his face because I've decided today is going to be open line day before Wednesday day. So I'm going to keep the phone lines open all 4 hours of the show, which I usually don't. I mean, because I got a lot of stuff to get through. But if somebody wants to talk about something that we've talked about this week, 615-737-9986. Phone lines are open. Now, Sam's got to realize, Joan, because he's like all bummed out about this because he doesn't like. Every screener hates screening phone calls, which I don't understand why. Because I love you people, and I love talking to you people. That's why I call you people. But nobody ever calls. Even when I do, whenever I do open lines, nobody ever calls. That's why, Sam, I'm trying to tell Sam, it's really not going to be that bad. I promise you, friend, nobody is going to call. Even if I say that it's open lines. I was just on 350-something radio stations. Do you know how many phone calls I got last night, Joan?
How many?
1.
That's not true.
It is true.
Did you only take one, but there were more?
No, sir, I only got 1 call last night.
Get out of here.
Well, the guys on Red Eye, then I promised I'm going to get to some business. But the guys on Red Eye, they never take calls. They just, by design, they don't. Which is fine. I mean, that's how they do it. I like taking calls. I don't get to do it often on the morning show because of the structure of the format and all that. But on overnights, I love taking phone calls. And so Sam just threw down his headphones because the phone rang. So, yeah, but I didn't get any calls last night, which is fine. Listen, it is typically a very slow day.
Yeah.
The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which is going to be tomorrow. So when I was on in middays, I would on occasion do open lines. I'm not a big open line kind of guy. I'm not El Rushbo.
Yeah. It's open line Friday.
Open line Friday. But, I feel like, you know what? It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I'm so appreciative of this audience and the folks that listen. If you want to do something sappy, like, what are you thankful for?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thankful for the people that listen.
Okay, that's good.
I'm thankful for the people that listen, and I'm thankful for the people that gave all that money to the Nashville Rescue Mission on Monday.
So for my sickbed, I listened, and I thought it was so nice. The stories that were told were wonderful. The people that called were amazing.
Yep.
I'm sad that I wasn't there. I'm sad I wasn't there.
You know what? If you stick around long enough, Joan, maybe you can be there next year.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you think the chances are? What's the over-under, Joan, on both you and I still being employed at WTN by this time next year?
It depends on how much we irritate the boss.
Well, there's a goal for one of us.
Yeah.
Charlie is on line one. Then I'm going to get to business. Charlie is calling from Columbia on Super Talk 99.7. Hey, Charlie.
Good morning. I'd like to say that I think that this is one of the best topics that you have had, and I really enjoy it. And it made so much sense, very much sense. And I thought that was a blessing for you to talk on a topic like that. I want to thank you for it, and I want to say, may God bless you all and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that very much. I didn't catch all of what he said, but I heard thank you and have a great Thanksgiving. So I know, Joan, that for once it was a nice call.
Yeah. See that. And you doubt people.
I've never doubt. Why don't I? Okay.
Roll the tape back.
That's all right. I'm going to take Bill, and then we're going to talk about a big headline from Newsweek about the 7th Congressional District. This is Mr. Bill in Hendersonville on WTN. Hey, Mr. Bill, how are you?
Man, I want to tell you, Joan, Sam, you're the best people to wake up to at 5 a.m. on 99.7 WTN. And I set my alarm every morning just so I can hear your wonderful Marconi award-winning voice.
Oh, that's so sweet. So they put you up here as Mr. Bill. Is that how you go by, as Mr. Bill?
Yeah, Mr. Bill from Hendersonville. We've met many times because I always go to all of your functions, and I always have to remind you how much I love to give you a hug.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hello, Mr. Bill. Very good. Hey, but I didn't ever call you Mr. Bill. Okay, so I want to see if Joan and Sam or you, Mr. Bill, get this reference. Sam might, but I want to know if you get this reference, Bill. Oh, no!
I got it.
You got that, Joan?
Oh, my gosh.
I am so incredibly impressed.
I would be impressed if Sam knows it.
Hold on. Mr. Bill from Hendersonville, did you get that? Do you know what that is?
Well, of course. How old do you think I am?
I know, right?
I'll be 95 in just 20 more years. And I was around whenever Mr. Bill first got popular in 1980.
Wow.
Okay. Look at you.
He was a character on Saturday Night Live, and he was a little claymation figure, and he was always having diabolical and dastardly things happen to him, and that's why he would always say, "Oh, no, Mr. Bill."
It wasn't "oh, no." It was "oh, no." That's what was it. Thank you, Bill. Mr. Bill from Hendersonville.
Why would you think I would not know Mr. Bill?
Because you're Joan and you're godlike.
Oh.
You're like very godly, and you don't partake in such things.
People who are godly also like to have fun. There's a headline for you. And B, I wasn't always following the path.
Okay.
We all kind of walk off.
So what you're saying is people that liked Mr. Bill are devil worshippers?
I'll say this. That thing creeped me out.
Mr. Bill?
Yes.
Why?
What?
Just the dead, soulless eyes.
He
Not
was a
Mr. Bill from
claymation
Hendersonville. The clay figure.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
he was a clay figure, so he was
Possessed by a
soulless.
demon.
Did that really start in 1980? Can you fact check Mr. Bill from Hendersonville? Can you fact check that? For some reason, I think it was earlier than that. I think it was in the mid to late 70s, but I very well could be wrong.
Nope. February 28th, 1976 is when Mr. Bill appeared on Saturday Night Live.
Okay, so then it all makes sense. So I've told this story before. My brother and I used to go into the bathroom, and we would do tapes and pretend that we were like Mr. Bill and do little skits.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do. I wonder if he remembers that, actually, my brother and I. Because we'd go in the bathroom with our stupid little tape recorder, and we would try to do in unison, "Oh, no." My brother and I would both do that. My mom's like, "What are you doing in the bathroom?"
I guess she wasn't a Mr. Bill fan.
Oh, she had no idea.
Yeah.
She had no idea. Anyway, all right, is business coming up. But we do have open phone lines today. It is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I would love to just talk to people today. So 615-737-9986. A big headline coming up. Joan's got the traffic. Joan.
Yeah, there is no traffic. I mean, I think that's going to be our story today is that there's really not a lot of traffic. I don't see any delays. I don't see any accidents so far this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All righty. Very good. As far as your weather goes, a bit breezy this morning. Otherwise, mostly sunny and cooler. A high of 53. Mostly sunny, but chilly with a high of 46 degrees for Thanksgiving. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so Joan, which name for Aftyn Bain do you like better? Because I was calling Aftyn Bain, and by the way, this is the great thing about Joan just coming back. Joan hasn't seen nor heard a lot of the Aftyn Bain nonsense because, you know, she has been doing the, oh no, in the toilet. So she's been very busy. Do you like, sorry, Joan, do you like Aftyn Insane, which I think is what Matt Murphy said? Or do you like, oh, what did I call her yesterday? I can't.
Didn't you call her Psycho something?
Psycho Aftyn.
Psycho Aftyn.
See, I like Psycho Aftyn. There's a bit of an edge to it.
Yeah, there is an edge, yeah.
Psycho Aftyn could be like a European punk band.
Doesn't it also follow because she was a psychology major in college? Like, she's psycho.
Oh, she's just. Do you remember Sam Kinison?
Oh, yeah.
When he would say psycho?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that it kind of reminds me.
Yeah.
This is the headline. Aftyn Bain revelations deal blow to Democrat hopes of winning Tennessee. Revelations, and this is from Newsweek. Revelations about Democratic candidate Aftyn Bain might make it more difficult for her party to win a special election in Tennessee. Betting odds indicate. See, that's why. Do you remember when the whole thing was with Kamala Harris? She came into town and she wouldn't meet with Aftyn Bain on stage. And I said at the time, I said, is there something about to drop? Remember that, Joan?
Yeah, I do.
And there wasn't something about to drop. It was a mountain of stuff that dropped on the head of the Democrats and Aftyn Bain. Now, we'll have to see ultimately what happens. But I'm talking to my contacts in the state legislature and government and all that. And I from what I understand, Matt Van Epps is still up like 8 to 10 points. We'll have to see ultimately what all of these now exposed hijinks and shenanigans, what they really do. If they really do hurt her chances. Do you know what I think it is? And I want to remind folks what because I played a lot of this stuff for you people yesterday, where she was being dragged out of the governor's office, right? Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
She was all the weird comments about how women can't have kids in power. Remember that whole thing?
Yes.
And then I rattled off like 5 or 6 Tennessean women that had kids and also have had a lot of power and had a lot of success in the world of business. So there's a lot of things that she has done. The screaming at the state legislature from the balcony. Did you see that one too, Joan?
Yes.
So polite society is just sort of like, you know, this is perfectly normal behavior with the left, right? This is perfectly normal behavior for the progressives. But polite society and normal people look at Aftyn Bain and her antics and her hijinks and her shenanigans and her dumb A behavior. And they're like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like grown adults do not act like this.
Oh, she's gone totally viral this week with all of her antics, her statements.
But in not a good way.
Yeah, and people are going, this woman's 36?
Are they really?
Yeah.
It's like she's not even close to acting her age.
Yeah.
Bain, a state legislator, is standing against Republican blah, blah. According to Matt Van Epps, I'm trying to skip down. According to Polymarket, a platform where Bain's chances of winning the election has decreased from 28% on November 5th to 12% on November 25th. She got 12, that's like 15 points.
Wow.
Something like that.
I mean, her chances were literally cut in more than half.
But a lot of these revelations didn't come down until after early voting began.
Do you know
a lot of people cast their ballots already.
Okay, so here's what my contacts tell me.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you as soon as I talk to Jesse on WTN. Hey, Jesse, go ahead real quick.
Yes, I was just wondering your thought on why you think the 50-year mortgage is a negative thing. And I'm really not real sure or real up on it, but I'm thinking it was just a way for younger people to be able to get into home ownership quicker. And then, once you own the home, you can tweak it later on down the road with refis and things like that. But
So I'd
like to know why you think it's negative.
Okay. All right. So I'll tell you, Jesse, a couple of reasons. Number one is nobody is going to live in a home 50 years. That's beside the point, though. And by the way, I don't believe that it is. I think my official talk show host position on this was that there's a lot of negative, but I understand that it might be good for some folks. So number one, you're paying a lot more interest to the bank, right? That's number one. Number two is that you are really going to be beholden to the banks for a lot longer. And so just to me, it seems like that's not the solution to the problem. You are ultimately going to pay more money to pay off lesser of a balance on that loan. So that's a couple of things. But I will also say to you, Jesse, and I would not recommend this to anybody, talk to your financial people. But the other thing that I would say is that when you are trying to get into a home and you can't, then it could give somebody the opportunity, right? So I'm not a blanket no. Like you people do your own research. But if somebody can't get into a home and this is the only way that they can get into a home and they're able to stay in it for like 5, 7, 8, 9 years, then maybe they can sell it off and you can start accumulating that wealth. But the problem is that you're paying off a lot more money in interest, which means that you have less in equity. And so the less you have in equity, the less you're going to have to put down on your next house. Does that make sense, Joan?
It makes perfect sense. I think you did that very well.
I want to make sure Jesse got that. Jesse, did you understand that?
I see that as well. I was thinking it would just be easier for them to get into. And then once you're in it, you can refi pretty quick as long as the interest points are there for it to make sense.
Well, have you ever heard of the refi trap? Hey, Jesse, have you ever heard of the refi trap?
Yeah, it's got to really make sense for I think you got to drop like 2 points to even do it, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, the refi trap is if there's a loan that's over a certain amount of time, and I don't forget what it was, but you've got a lot of these refi companies that actually are not interested in refinancing a loan unless they're under, some reasonable expectation of either, what are the interest rates or how much time is left on the loan, those kinds of things. So I don't know, Joan, didn't you? I think you and I talked about this 50-year loan. It's an opportunity for somebody, perhaps. It's not the solution to the problem. That's the thing. It's not the solution to the problem.
Interest rates need to come down. Interest rates need to come down. Interest rates need to come down. That's all.
Well, yeah, a number of things.
Yeah.
Interest rates need to come down. We got to get the illegals out of here even more because they're taking up homes. They're taking up space. And we need more homes. And that's why you've got the Trump administration saying we got to build 5 million more homes. Supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
So that when they came out with the 50-year loans, the first thing I said was, well, that's okay, but that's not the solution. Like, please don't tell me that's your only solution. And it's not. I mean, they're trying to get people out of here. They're trying to get the illegals out of here and so forth. And so that's, but yeah, I would never recommend to my daughter a 50-year loan.
I don't think I really don't think it's a solution at all.
No, it's 5:24 in Nashville's Morning News. Sam, did you just take my picture?
No, he took a picture of something else.
Yeah.
I was watching him.
All right.
Don't be watching me.
I got your back. I'm always watching. My eyes are right
just so you know, just so you know, Sam, when Joan says, I've got your back, it means she's about to knife you.
That's right. You got it. You finally got it.
I finally understand Joan.
Yes.
All right. So bottom line is Aftyn Bain, her chances of winning the election decreasing now from 28% on November 5th to 12% on November 25th, which is yesterday. Newsweek reaching out to Bain's campaign by email to comment on this story. They say outside of normal business hours. By the way, you know who I came this close to getting an interview with?
Oh, who?
J.D. Vance.
No.
Yeah, he's coming to Tennessee,
Right.
apparently.
Yeah, he'll be at Fort Campbell today.
Going to be at Fort Campbell.
With
That
troops.
is so awesome.
But apparently with Aftyn Bain's rapidly diminishing chances of winning, apparently they didn't think it was necessary for J.D. Vance to, tarnish his solid reputation by appearing on the radio with me.
Well, why would he sully his image?
Well, because I'm, me. I'm no Matt Murphy, and because, Matt Murphy got Mike Johnson. So,
I know.
yeah.
I have him coming up.
Matt got Mike Johnson. Yeah, a great interview, too. I've got some audio on that and a whole lot more straight ahead. 525 on Super Talk 99.7, and a super text line is open, 615-737-9986. Open line Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So you want to talk about anything up to a certain point, you can. Phone lines are open as well, 615-737-9986. Jones got the news coming up at 5:30.
Yeah, so it's Thanksgiving. You're maybe going to stand out in front of a parade tomorrow for Thanksgiving Day. Well, guess what? It's going to be cold around here. We've got a cold front moving in. We'll tell you how cold it's going to get and for how long coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It's now 5:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We are headed for a cold stretch.
Today is the start of that colder air coming in. We'll stay in the 50s this afternoon. Some high elevations may even stay in the 40s. Tonight, we're dropping down near that freezing mark. High elevations will be even below freezing. By tomorrow morning, it's cold, it's chilly in the afternoon, and gets even colder Thanksgiving night.
WSMV4's Stefano DiPietro there. An early morning fire destroyed a Wilson County home yesterday along Vanderbilt Road. Well, now the neighbors there are working together to help that family through the holidays.
Well, it's a great couple. Hate to see it happen to anybody, but Jim Bond, his wife Michelle, and son Marcus, great people. Vanderbilt Road sticks together. I mean, this is a really tight-knit street.
That man speaking to Channel 4. The cause of the fire still under investigation. Early voting ends today for voters in the highly contested 7th Congressional District. House Speaker Mike Johnson says getting Matt Van Epps into the now vacated seat in the 7th Congressional District is so important to Republicans.
There's no question. On many key votes coming up over the next several months, Matt Van Epps will be the hero. I mean, he will be the deciding vote. There's no question about it. And it will make all the difference for the entire country.
Speaking yesterday on the Matt Murphy Show, he's pitted against Democrat Aftyn Bain. 7th District voters in 14 counties, including Davidson, Montgomery, and Williamson counties, can still vote early today, or they can vote in person on Election Day, which, by the way, is Tuesday. That's December 2nd. Vice President J.D. Vance, meantime, bringing the whole family to Clarksville to celebrate Thanksgiving early with the troops at Fort Campbell. The Vance family is having lunch with the troops, and then the vice president will deliver a speech. That is the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Still nothing. The roadways are very clear this morning. Minor delays on the loop as you're traveling around the areas of Nashville today on the 24 and 40 area. Really, though, the roads are looking so fine this morning. You're not going to find any delays. Also, TDOT is on a holiday, so the construction zones will be all picked up for at least through Sunday night, perhaps into Monday morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.537 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 615-737-9986. So apparently, Joan and Sam, I absolutely butchered when I tried to say earlier, open line Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I tried to say that earlier, and apparently I just completely butchered it,
Yeah,
as
you
I
must
often
have.
do.
I saw that, yeah.
Do you know what I like about the Super Text line? What I love about the Super Text line is if I ever get an ego, which I never will because I think I suck. If I ever get an ego, all I've got to do is read the Super Text line for you folks to remind me how much I suck.
They'll smack you right back down.
They absolutely will. Hey, do you want to hear Kid Rock? And then I'm going to get to a couple of calls. 615-737-9986. Kid Rock has something to say. Oh, gosh, you know what? I have not previewed this. Do you think Kid Rock would have cursed as he is endorsing Matt Van Epps?
Probably.
You think so? Are we in delay? All right, real quick. Now, you have one of the low-keyest guys in Matt Van Epps and Kid Rock, who, let's just be honest, Kid is at times a little exuberant in some of the things that he does. And here's what he says about Matt Van Epps.
Matt Van Epps here with my good friend Bob. Kid Rock at his place on Broadway. Need you to get out the vote.
All right, shouldn't be rocket science, kids. You got somebody who served our country. Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This willing to put America first against this left-wing lunatic nut job who is pretty much, it's come to surface if you haven't seen it yet, in case you live in a cave, who said she not only hates Nashville, she hates country music. And also, she thinks, if little Johnny goes to school and wants to be called Sarah, that the parents shouldn't be notified. Wants to defund the police. I mean, everything else. Come on, people. If you want to live in a city like that, move to Portland. Let's keep Tennessee conservative. Let's keep it moving forward with people like Matt here. And let's not let these lunatics into our politics.
There you go. Matt Van Epps.
Nice.
Earns the support of Kid Rock. Let's see here. This is Thomas in Kentucky on Super Talk 99.7. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Dan, I was listening to you this morning on Red Eye.
Mm-hmm.
You come back from break, you're giving out the text and all that stuff. You should call, but you don't want to call. It don't matter because I don't want to talk to nobody.
Well, you don't want to talk to people, so why did you pick up the phone and call me?
No, I said you said that.
Oh, I said that? No,
Yeah.
I love talking to people.
Now, that's why I'm confused this morning. On 99, you're saying call because I love talking, but on Red Eye, you play it back around 3 o'clock. You said, I don't want to talk to nobody.
I never said I don't want to talk to nobody.
The Truth Patrol has come for you, Dan.
Go back and play it.
That I said that I don't want to talk to nobody? I never. You know what,
Yes.
Sam? See what he's talking about. I don't think I said that because I wanted to talk to people. Yeah, I love talking to people.
I love y'all's show. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, you did say that around 3 o'clock.
I said I don't want to talk to anybody?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. We're going to have to
All
find
right.
out. Do you know what me? Thank you. I appreciate it, though. Thank you. I don't think did I say that, Joan? You were listening.
I was, but I don't know if I heard that. I was listening in the 3 o'clock hour, too, so I...
Do you know what sometimes happens is if nobody calls and I say, I don't want to talk to anybody anyway.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? That's probably what it was because that's a totally snarky thing that I would do.
Yeah, Thomas, he was just being sassy.
Sassy Pants Mandis. Real quick, and then we're going to get to business. Brad is in Murfreesboro on WTN. Hey, Brad, how are you?
Hey, good morning, guys and gals. Hey, I want to comment on a a gentleman that spoke during the radiothon that I actually had to pull my car for what he said was so inspiring to me. It was just before the 6:30 break, and the gentleman talking about he works there at the mission. He said, I just want people to know that here at the mission there are no big I's and little U's. And I had to stop and think about that just for a moment. What's he saying? And he's saying that no one's problems is bigger than the others. We're all equal here, and let's work this together. And I just thought that was very inspiring to me.
You know, there's so many, Brad, there's so many inspiring people and moments at the rescue mission and at the radiothon and the months leading up to it when I get to go and interview people and edit together those little vignettes. They're all inspiring, from the people that work there, the people that are going through there, the challenges that they've been able to overcome. It is amazing. That's why when I say, people think I'm kidding. One of my favorite broadcasts, if not my favorite broadcast, is when I get to go down to the rescue mission and interview all of those folks. So, Brad, I very much appreciate the fact that you listened.
I got one other thing.
Yes.
I do text in quite a bit, and from all over the world, Hong Kong, Incheon, South Korea, and sometimes I don't think y'all believe that I'm really there. But it is all true when I text from all over the world.
So you're like a world traveler?
No, I fly international cargo.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm all over the world, and so if you get a text from Hong Kong, it really is Hong Kong, I promise.
Do you get nervous when you go into China? I would.
Put it this way. Everyone asks me what's my favorite airport to land in. That is Nashville. That means I'm going home.
There you go. Well,
the airport to take off out of anywhere in China, and it's not the people in China. They're great. It's the process while you're there.
Interesting. All right. Well, Brad, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it, and the fact that you're listening to WTN all across the world. All right. This is Jim Acosta. You want to talk about a brain trust, Joan?
I know.
Jim Acosta and Aftyn Bain. Listen to this.
You were saying, before we got started, you were saying that J.D. Vance, is that right? J.D. Vance is coming to your district to campaign on behalf of your opponent tomorrow?
Yeah, so Trump had a telethon hall for my opponent, and it was very strange hearing Trump say your name. I was hoping he
said your name?
Oh, yeah, twice. I was hoping he'd say something like...
You know what's so funny is that if you're watching this on Super Talk TV, when Jim Acosta says, he said your name, Joan, he's got that, somebody farted in church look on his face.
Like, she is way less cute than my daughter, Ivanka. She's not a real blonde. No, I
that's a good Trump.
Thank you. I thought it was going to be funny. It wasn't. But so they brought in the big dogs because Trump can't afford to lose another district. J.D. Vance is coming to Fort Campbell, which is obviously a base for military families tomorrow. And so the cavalry is being called in because this race has unforeseen become quite close.
I mean, if they're bringing J.D. Vance in, that's something else. Ladies and gentlemen, hide your sofas. I'm just kidding. That's just.
Yeah. There's just a lot of, I've been grateful. I've welcomed the.
You know what's so funny? So she's talking about how J.D. Vance is kind of like coming to the rescue. The cavalry is coming in, right? They're completely missing the point. The point is that Kamala Harris, the other vice president that has been in town the last couple of weeks, came in and wouldn't even be seen on the same stage with Aftyn Bain. So I think that Aftyn Bain, I think she's a little jelly. I think that's what it is. I think she's a little jelly.
It's so interesting that I was watching some Fox News yesterday, and even on Fox News, they think that Kamala Harris came to Nashville for Aftyn Bain.
No, she came here for a book signing, and then...
I don't get it. Like, why don't they have that information? And they don't even know she didn't appear with Aftyn Bain.
The only person to appear with her was Justin Jones.
Yeah, you notice old Justin Jones had his hair down, looking all pretty. Did you see that?
But the point you make about the current vice president coming to visit the troops, which, I'm pretty sure they do every year on all holidays pretty much, a representative from the White House is at some military base. and the parallel to Kamala coming and avoiding Aftyn banning. It's time for my new favorite sounder.
Aha! What is that? Aha! Is that me?
Yeah.
Where do you get this stuff? You know what? If you need some more production duties, I'm sure that the boss can like make you dub some commercials or something. Aha! Whatever. Brian is on line 1 on WTN. Brian, thank you for partaking in Open Line Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Dan, I'm so appreciative of you and what a great radio station. But I do have some questions. One would be, I don't know how you were able to even find a wife or to get a date after talking to Jane about saying about the toilet and oh no. But for the reference, you did say today that, one, you love taking phone calls. I swear I thought you were a Democrat, because then you spoke right outside the other side of your mouth and said, but I really don't like taking phone calls. And that was at the beginning of the 5 o'clock hour.
Oh, got it. Okay. Brian, thank you. Here's what you're missing. All right. I'm going to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. I love taking phone calls. Red Eye Radio and even on the morning show, I love taking phone calls. During the morning show, I'm really not allowed to take phone calls because it's supposed to be, very highly formatted, and everything's got to be sort of compacted and quick and so forth. And so they don't want me to take phone calls in the morning time unless it's really, really screened and what's the right word? Just, really formatted. Everything's got to be very quick. So that's what I mean. I would love to take phone calls every single show if I could. But because I'm on in the morning, they don't like me to do that. That's what I'm saying. I like doing it, but when you're on in morning drive, it's not something that you're really supposed to do. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And to be quite honest, I'm just picking on you. I think y'all do an amazing job. I listen to y'all every morning. I get up at 4:30 and I listen to Red Eye to start my morning. I work for UPS and drive, and I listen to y'all every morning and religiously. And I appreciate that y'all tell the truth, and don't put Acosta back on. You about put me to sleep driving down the interstate. But have a great Thanksgiving.
You too, Brian. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, Brian, it's Joan. It's Joan.
He knew.
He knows.
He knew. I actually do think it was by accident that he called you Jane.
Well, I think he's following your lead.
As he should.
Oh, my gosh.
As all good conservatives should. I'm totally kidding. 1313. And then you end up cutting people off when you don't want to. Yeah, I've done that before, too. 4702. Have they listened to you? Yeah, I hope so. Been around for, feels like forever. Anyway, it is 5:50 on Nashville's, and I mean that in a good way. I like being here in Tennessee. 5:50, Nashville's. Line 2. All right, real quick. Line 2 on WTN. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Dan. How you doing today?
2 thumbs up in my world. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, this is Mark from Baxter. I message you once in a while, just saying you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. And you're doing a great job as a listener, too. And have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. You have a good one. Give the family a big hug, okay?
I will, if I can catch them.
That's nice.
My family doesn't like when I hug them. That's why my wife.
Amanda's thing.
That's why my wife wanted the dog. Go hug the dog. Aha! Moving right along. All right, it is 5:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I've got a lot going on as far as the stories that I have to cover for you today. We will continue to do Open Line Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I do have an interview with, I believe it's Stephen Bucci from the Heritage Foundation. The big news is apparently Ukraine and Russia, they're getting close to a peace deal, so that is exciting. By the way, I'm very cynical on this peace deal. I'm just going to tell you, I'm very cynical. We'll have to see what happens. We do have more on Aftyn. Bain, you know what is amazing to me is that, and I tried to explain, I was on Red Eye. I was trying to explain this because Gary and Eric, I'm not criticizing them, but they haven't really talked about it. So the whole unfurling of the Aftyn Bain train wreckery from, the first time we heard the audio of I hate she hates country music and she hates, Broadway and Nashville and all that kind of stuff, all the way to everything that has been coming out since then. I mean, this was clearly a planned and plotted attack. And I was talking to somebody last night who, last night at about 5, and I was talking to this person who is from the state legislature. He's from the Republican Party, if you will. They've had all of these sound bites at the ready. They knew that this, if things go a little kinky, a little haywire, then they have all of this audio at the ready. I'd be willing to bet, Joan, that there were Republicans that were hoping that Aftyn Bain would win because all of this stuff is out there where adults don't act like this. Right. Do you think if she loses, do you think that she will rue the day that she decided to run for the 7th? That's number one. Sam says no. Number two, do you think that she'll start acting a little more normal?
No.
You don't?
I think that this will catapult her into a level of crazy we haven't seen yet.
What you said. She'll double down.
Yeah.
And what the mindset is going to be is they're going to take the loss as either maybe there was election interference or it's all the billionaire super PACs that were backing Matt Van Epps, and they will twist the truth as they always do to try and benefit them in some manner.
She has those talking points down pat. I mean, doesn't she? Everything ends with the millionaires and the billionaires and,
She's taken no corporate PAC money because she can get no corporate PAC money.
I was going to say, I don't know if there's been a lot of folks that have been donating to her campaign. I think there's a lot of Democrats that are donating. The Democrat Party has been donating to her campaign. I don't know about PACs and all that kind of stuff. I have no idea. But bottom line is, and I like this social media post real quick, and then we're going to move on. But I liked this social media post. For those of you keeping score, here's a running list of what Aftyn Bain believes. Nashville is the worst city in America. Women cannot be moms and successful at the same time. Got any comment on that, Joan? Men can have babies. Offering at-home abortions is something that she would love. And get rid of the police. I mean, and those are just whatever policy issues we can find. Then you start talking about just all the bad behavior and, from the being, I don't know. You know what maybe we ought to do? What is your favorite, and maybe we should save this until if she loses, which I think she will, but what is your favorite Aftyn Bain video? Like, what's your favorite Aftyn Bain train wreck, right? It could be the hey, it's your girl squad harassing ICE, right? There was that one. There is Aftyn Bain screaming at the top of her lungs from the balcony of the state legislature. There's that. There is being drug out of Governor Lee's office, right?
Squealing.
Absolutely squealing. So those are the big three. I think there's other ones too. Like, see, there's so many I've actually forgotten now. But if I had to choose, I would say that my fave would be getting dragged out of Governor Lee's office. No. That would be mine. What is yours, Sam?
It's got to be the podcast where she slipped up and talked about how much she hates Nashville. The condemnation she has in her voice for bachelorettes alone, and then the fact that they come here to celebrate their engagement and everything.
Right.
It just shows how sour of a woman she really is at the end of the day.
I've never seen a woman more in need of listening to the song "Don't Worry, Be Happy" than Aftyn Bain. Because she's like, hey, it's like she hates everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, it's what who hates bachelorettes?
Is it annoying? Yeah. Does it take up traffic when it's the weekend and there's 3 or 4 different groups? Absolutely.
Yeah, but are they important to the Tennessee economy? Yes.
And am I happy that people are getting married? 100%. She's not, because apparently it's never going to happen to her.
All right, that's enough. It is fine. Joan, did you hear 8:35 yesterday?
No.
Oh my God.
Wait, was this the bunchy boobs?
Yes.
Okay.
That had to be the most uncomfortable conversation I've ever had, and I condemned that conversation in real time because I didn't want to talk about what Chris
after asking everybody their thoughts on why they looked that way.
And Jay. No, that wasn't me.
Yes, you
I did not do that. Why is everybody on this show today telling me I said things that I didn't?
Okay.
I didn't say that. I never. Wait, I may have.
Yes, I'm gonna say.
But
I
it was
answered
only
the question.
It was only because I was trying to deflect from having to answer the question myself. Anyway, moving right along. Joan, what's coming up in the news at 6?
Damn, why don't you just spring it on me? Okay, coming up.
Every morning, every hour, same time. Hey,
Yeah.
Joan, what's
Okay.
going on?
Last day for voters to cast their early voting ballot in the 7th District. Also, we've got changes for the nation's national parks. You'll want to hear about this coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning, now 6:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. This is the last day that voters can cast a ballot in early voting for the special election in the 7th District. House Speaker Mike Johnson on the choice between Republican Matt Van Epps and his challenger on the left, Aftyn.
This is what happens. The reason that you get these radical leftist candidates elected in these one-off elections around the country is that just common sense conservative regular Americans are not paying attention in these special elections. We've got to make sure everybody knows.
So speaking with Matt Murphy yesterday on his show, while early voting ends today, you can still vote in person on Tuesday for the special election. Tennessee is expected to break a record for Thanksgiving travel this week.
AAA says a record 1.9 million Tennesseans are going at least 50 miles away from home this Thanksgiving. 1.8 million driving, 51,000 are flying. Peak congestion is expected today and Sunday, so plan for delays. Experts recommend traveling early in the morning or late at night to avoid the worst traffic. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Americans are now getting priority at the nation's national parks. The Interior Department saying that starting January 1st, it'll charge the millions of international tourists who visit the parks $100 per person to enter the most popular sites. It'll remain $80 for Americans. The international visitors won't be able to take advantage of fee-free days as well. They'll be reserved for Americans. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Investors piled onto Monday's gains yesterday, sending the Dow Jones 664 points higher for a close back above 47,000. The Nasdaq Composite picked up 0.7% Tuesday. The S&P tacked on 0.9. Shares in coal surged 42% after the department store chain beat analyst predictions for profit. Best Buy boosted its profit forecast for the full year after its own better-than-expected third quarter. Also higher overnight, oil prices, which had slid to a one-month low during the previous trading session. Brent crude futures rose 27 cents to $62.75. On the consumer end, gas prices this Thanksgiving have fallen below $3 a gallon in 30 states. Still working up the kinks, Amazon faces a federal probe after one of its delivery drones severed an internet cable in Waco, Texas last week. No one was hurt. The drone landed safely, but the FAA wants some answers. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures pointing up. Dow futures plus 48, Nasdaq futures up 94, and the S&P futures gaining 16. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so I am starting to see delays on 24, the westbound side in the Laverne area. Also coming in from the north, it's slow after the merge of 24 and 65. Otherwise, looking pretty good so far this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6:07 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. It is Open Line Wednesday before Thanksgiving. For the first time in many years, I am doing open lines today. So that doesn't mean the text line. That means the phone lines are open. If you want to call in, talk about anything you want on this Wednesday before Thanksgiving. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to take a couple of calls here in a couple of minutes, but I want to talk a little bit about, number one, a great interview that I'm looking forward to coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, right after the 7 o'clock news, and that is going to be Brent Sandler from the Heritage Foundation, and we're going to be talking about the possibility that the war between Ukraine and Russia is about to be done. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to tell you, I don't mean to be a Danny Downer on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I am a little cynical. But we'll see what happens. I've seen Vladimir Putin over the years and read enough about him to know that he comes to these agreements and then for whatever reason, he just decides that he no longer agrees with the agreements and he continues to do what he does. So we'll see what happens. So I've got that interview coming up at 7 o'clock. I've got some topics on the economy coming up. We had some great economic news yesterday, as a matter of fact. I feel like, Joan, and help me if I'm mistaken here.
Okay.
But it feels like Trump has perhaps regained his footing after a really bad, probably week or two. Because remember, for like a week or two, we had the 600,000 Chinese students, which is still a problem.
Yeah.
We had
bad midterms.
Bad midterm. Well, the special elections, the bad special election in New York and New Jersey and all. Not New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey. New York, New Jersey, Virginia, and some others. And of course, we all know that we also have a big disagreement going on as it relates to importing talent, right? So these are some pretty big issues among MAGA, but it also does seem like the president hears us, he understands us, and they are now going to turn around and focus big time on the economy. And Joan, coming up here in a little bit, I don't want to hit you with it right away, but what was the big economic news yesterday? Do you have that in front of you? I don't want to spring it on you, but I know that we had some pretty good economic news yesterday. And so I've got audio only here, if I could, Sam. While Joan's looking up that, I do find it interesting. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, he calls into, of course, the Matt Murphy show yesterday, talking about supporting Matt Van Epps.
The entire country is watching this race, okay? It's the only game on the map right now. It's a special election, and it is for all the marbles. You've seen how small the margins are, how small the majority is in the House Republican Conference. And to keep this train on the tracks, to keep delivering on the America First agenda, to keep President Trump's all of his plans and agendas moving forward, we have got to get Matt Van Epps elected in this special seat. There's 1 day left for early voting.
Yeah, and that is, of course, today. And that was, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, calling into WTN and Murphy Show. I loved it. And even Fox News.
He should win. 22 points Trump won by, but that was made vacant by Mark Green's retirement. It's a heavily Republican district, and thank goodness he should win. 22.
Talking about Matt Van Epps.
2 points Trump won by, but listen, Ken Martin and Kamala Harris were there. They just spent $1 million in ads. They must be seeing something in the polls. If she's even close, Republicans, that's a wake-up call. Oh, she's even close. Without a doubt. Right. So
Ken Martin, DNC chair, and Kamala Harris.
And you're right, Joan. We talked about that last night, that report from Fox News, where they're talking about how if Aftyn Bain is even close, then it is a wake-up call. Can I tell you something, though? I actually don't mind wake-up calls for the Republican Party.
Oh,
What about you, Joan? I think we could go back. We could go back and look at what happened in those special elections in New York and Virginia and so forth. We could look back and think, you know what? That was a valuable lesson, that wake-up call. And so I think that might very well be a good thing, because I do believe that it got Donald Trump's attention. I do. We've got the battle between Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and so forth. I totally get that. The two sides, America First and MAGA, I totally get all that. But right now, I think that now that we've seen just how bad Aftyn Bain is here in the 7th and how the entire country is looking at our, Middle Tennessee in the 7th Congressional District, I think that this does give the Republicans an opportunity really to reset a little bit. And so go ahead, Joan. I heard you.
You want to hear about the what happened yesterday?
Quick.
So yesterday there were two reports, and one was that consumer confidence had fallen. So not good for the stock market. But Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC that there's a very good chance that there'll be an announcement before Christmas on who will be the next Fed chair, and that there's going to be a rate cut that it will be at least 0.25% coming up next week, when the Fed meets again for their rate setting. So the traders are pricing an 85% chance of a 0.25 percentage point cut from the Fed.
Okay.
But I'm actually hearing that some of the Fed governors are calling for an even bigger rate cut. So if it's a 0.5 percentage point, that would be like what would actually move the market.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think that there are good things ahead for the economy in 2026 based on some of the tax cuts that we have seen in the big, beautiful bill. I do believe that people are going to have more money in their pocket. We'll have to see ultimately where that goes. But I get the consumer confidence because there is a lot of doomsaying, and I'm not saying the economy is perfect. There's a lot of doomsaying, though, within the media as well, because, they're just itching for bad economic news so that they can take it to Donald Trump. This is Dan calling from Gallatin on Super Talk 99.7. Hey, Dan, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just like to talk about medical marijuana, not for me, but for my wife. Her background, she had an accident when she was like 10 years old, blew all the discs out of her back. She's had surgery on her neck. She's diabetic. Now she has surgery on her shoulder. Used to be an addict. I got her off all that stuff. And the Republicans and the Democrats can't seem to get together to get the medical marijuana law passed. And it's killing me because I can't get her back on the oxycodone and the Meprigan and all that stuff.
So have you? I don't want to act as your Dan. I don't want to act as your drug pusher, but I'm hearing you talk about oxycodone and some of these other things. Have you tried gummies?
Yes, sir. I have. The gummies don't really do anything for her.
Okay.
I have to go to Illinois and buy them legally over there because Tennessee doesn't have enough common sense to legalize it here.
Listen, when it comes to medicinal marijuana, Dan, you and I are in total agreement, and I appreciate the call and wish you the best of luck. By the way, I was actually talking to a very important state lawmaker yesterday, Joan.
Yeah.
And you know what I did?
What did you do, Dan?
I filed my official complaint about medicinal marijuana.
Oh, good.
I said, you guys are off this. Like you guys are. I actually said to this guy, you are wrong on medicinal marijuana. I know, and I know I've said this before. I'm sorry, but I know a bunch of conservatives, and most of them are for medicinal marijuana. Do you know what the only conservatives I know that are against medicinal marijuana are in the state legislature? Dadgummit. 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN. Very good. As far as your weather goes, a bit breezy in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny, cooler, and a high of 53, mostly sunny, but chilly with a high of 46 for Thanksgiving. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up, let me see if I can pull it up real quickly. Apparently, Donald Trump, I don't know if you saw this, Joan. Donald Trump has been actually tweeting about Aftyn Bain. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Way.
That's what I'm told by my friend Erin. She says that Donald Trump was tweeting about Aftyn Bain. I got to see if I can find it. She says it's on my Twitter, but I'm not able to. It's not jumping. Here it is right here. All right, you want to hear what Donald Trump said about Aftyn Bain?
Yeah.
All right. He says, I'm asking all America First patriots in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District who have not voted yet to please get out and vote for MAGA warrior Matt Van Epps.
Nice.
Tomorrow, November 26th, the last day to vote early in person, which, by the way, that's today. You can win this election for Matt. Please vote on Matt Van Epps, who has my complete and total endorsement. Polls close at 12 p.m. noon in most of TN 07, and every vote counts. If you are in line by 12 p.m., stay in line, and they must let you vote. Tennessee 7, early voting ends November 26th, an election day. And he says that Matt Van Epps will never let you down. And there you go. All right, so I like that the president is doing that. And I think that the president understands how important this is. Ken is calling from Nashville. And Ken, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, Dan. I'm a big podcast listener, and I was wondering when your Mostly Peaceful podcast with Dan and Chris, you got any new episodes coming up anytime soon?
Well, gee, Ken, it's some funny you should ask. Thank you for the layup. So they always drop on Saturday morning, right around 6. We've got one coming up this Saturday. We also taped one. I'm not sure when it's going to air. We'll ask Chris when he comes in. I just sit there and talk. But we also did one for Thanksgiving. And so, yeah, but every Saturday morning, folks, it is Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris. And it's one of my favorite times of the week. Sit down. Chris and I go back and forth. We start jawing at each other. Not that I don't love commercials, but no commercials, no nothing. It is just like 45 minutes of stream of conscious conversation. So it's a lot of fun. Do you like Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris there, Ken?
Yeah, I've only listened to just a couple of them. The latest one was back in mid-August, actually. So that's why I was calling to ask.
Well, we got a whole bunch of new ones up there. I mean, we like every week, for the most part, every week we've put them up. You know, we had something happen with the notifications, Ken. I don't know. This is not my department, but something's going on with the notifications. Find the podcast on all the streaming services. You can go to YouTube, type in Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris, and it is right there. It is rapidly expanding when it's not. Let's see. Steve is in Colioca on Super Talk. Hey, Steve, go ahead.
Good morning. I just want to call in and say that my wife and I really like you guys. Y'all have great chemistry, and we just wake up on Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and y'all are not the same. The weekend is not the same without you guys on there.
Oh, well, thank you, Steve. Well, here's the thing. You know, you can always listen to Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris. All right. Thank you, Steve. You know what?
This is too funny.
And thank you, Steve. Go ahead, Joan.
I'm on X right now watching some of the responses to an Aftyn Beam post. She says, good morning. Did you hear 2 more days of early voting? So this was yesterday. Please turn out. And the responses are hysterical. Jonah said, you can count on me to never vote for your unhinged ideology.
Keep
Aftyn
going.
Bain, 2 left for Tennessee. Yeah. Dang, you are mentally unstable.
Oh.
and there's the video of her being pulled out of Governor Lee's office.
Yeah.
Another one I can't even talk about because she said something, and I'm going to have to send this to you. You've got to be the one to
say what this says.
Yeah, I can't do that one.
All right.
Good morning, Tennessee's. And did you hear Aftyn won't tell you her positions on issues such as defunding police or anything else because they're all terrible. I mean, the responses that she's getting, Comrade Bain, Tennessee cops know who you are and what you represent.
Oh, well, yeah. And that's the thing. I don't really understand why I'm befuddled and confused by the fact that she refuses to acknowledge that she does want to defund the police. I went through all of this yesterday. Maybe it's because she's afraid that would further activate the Republicans. Do you think that she's activated the Republicans, Sam and John?
I was actually going to say that's exactly what I think it is.
Yeah.
You beat me to it on it. But the point being that, when you said earlier example, great here in-house, Dan doesn't remember potentially saying that he doesn't want to talk to anybody on Red Eye. Okay, but those are words that you spoke, and if we could go find a recording, that'd be one thing. But when you type something out and you post it out onto the internet for people to screenshot and then throw back in your face, you don't get to say, I don't remember saying that.
Right. I mean, she has said it. She has posted it. And by the way, let's not forget that all of this started with Aftyn Bain when she put out a video bullying ICE.
Yes. Yes.
So I think
Here's another one. I'm so glad you're on X. You're pretty as a picture and bat-ass nuts.
Is she pretty as a picture?
I think she's a pretty lady.
I think, you know what? I think she's, I think I said yesterday, I think she's fetching. But then again, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is cute. Kyle is on line 1 on Super Talk. Hey, Kyle, go ahead.
Yes. Excuse me. I think that was extraordinary nice saying for Trump about Van Epps. But that lady, Aftyn Bain, I saw a clip whereas she batted her eye right at the last. And if you'll check it out, you'll see that I wouldn't trust that woman. She's just like a brick. I wouldn't trust her no further than I could throw her. Even my Bible tells me, man that shuffles his feet, waves his hands, bats his eye, is not to be trusted.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Joan, make sure I never bat my eyes.
Okay. I will make sure you never do that.
That could be a stroke, by the way, too. So, call the ambulance.
You'd smell burnt toast and your face would freeze in a funny position.
There is that, too. All right, it is 6:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan was coming up in the news at 7.
An ICE raid and an arrest that has just hit at the White House. We'll explain in a moment. Coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
This is the most awkward story of the morning.
It certainly is.
It is an awkward story, is it not? All right, so I'll let you tell the story. That is coming up 6:23 on Nashville's Morning News. Again, don't forget, it is open line a Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So not only is the Super Text line open, but the phone lines are open as well. I have not done open lines in forever, as a matter of fact. So if you want to call up, go right on ahead and we'll talk about whatever is on your mind. 624, Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's. I've got a brand new, I don't know if you heard about this, Joan. I've got a brand new black refrigerator in my garage. And yeah, very exciting in my life. Of course, Amy is claiming that this is part of my Christmas gift package. Which this is, we do not have an accord on that. It's a great refrigerator, and we got it at a great price at DT McCall's. It is not part of a Christmas package. If men are not allowed to buy women things that plug
vacuum
in,
cleaner.
then that's exactly right, Joan. If I can't buy her a vacuum cleaner from DT McCall's for Christmas, then she can't buy me a refrigerator from DT McCall's for Christmas, right?
I think so, yeah. I think you have a point there.
Be that as it may, I do have a great new black refrigerator from my friends at DT McCall's, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans. Great prices, selection, and value. I've got a lot of things from DT McCall's in my home and in my garage. And I got to tell you, again, this is a great company. They've been helping people out for 4 generations. And if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's for your home, for your garage, indoor furniture. If you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's Appliances. If it plugs in, they've got it at great prices and selection as well. And at their website, dtmccalls.com, right there at the front page of their website, they've got specials and great prices on all the best brands of appliances and furniture. Check them out at dtmccalls.com. They've been doing this, again, 4 generations, over 100 years, with a focus on customer service. And if you buy it, they're going to deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. You got 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com.
Good morning, 6:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories and the push for peace in Ukraine. President Trump is saying that he'll send his top envoy to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
A U.S. official says Ukraine has agreed to a lengthy peace plan after an apparent breakthrough during recent talks in Switzerland. President Trump on social media saying the original 28-point peace plan, which was drafted by the United States, has been fine-tuned with additional input from both sides, and there are only a few remaining points of disagreement.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. The plan no longer puts limits on the size of Ukraine's army. A woman with a family connection to the White House press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, has been arrested in an ICE raid. Her name is Bruna Ferreira, and she has an 11-year-old son with Michael Levitt, Carolyn Levitt's brother. Boston TV reporter Mary Saladna at WCVB in Boston.
Ferreira was picked up by ICE earlier this month in Revere. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security told News Center 5 Ferreira is a criminal illegal alien from Brazil. She has a previous arrest for battery. She entered the U.S. on a B-2 tourist visa that required her to depart the U.S. by June 6, 1999.
Now, as far as that 11-year-old boy, Ferrara has never had custody of him. He's lived with Caroline Levitt's brother and his wife since being born. The press secretary has no comment so far on this matter. Nashville drivers must brace for some holiday gridlock.
A new report by Consumer Affairs ranks Music City 9th among the worst U.S. cities for holiday traffic, with congestion jumping more than 11% from fall to winter. Drivers here spend nearly 3 hours stuck in traffic during the season, and crash risks rise in both clear and bad weather. Memphis also made the list at number 10, while Tampa tops the nation for holiday jams. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 632, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. WTN, Dan Mandis here. And if you need to save money on insurance, check out my friends at King & Associates Insurance. Now, so many of my listeners have reached out and let me know that they've been able to save and save big with King & Associates Insurance. And one guy that I know, his 16-year-old daughter got into a car accident. They still saved him thousands of dollars when it came time for new insurance. Now, you know, King & Associates, they know that life happens. And as independent agents, they can find you the best deal for your family. They're going to weed out the non-competitive companies and find the best options for you and your family. And by the way, one of the things that they do that a lot of other companies don't, they keep the communication flawless. King & Associates know it's not only relationships with the best companies around, but also bundling home and auto. King & Associates Insurance, they will fight for the best deal possible. Check them out online, tkinginsurance.com. That phone number is 615-321-8121. Save money, get great insurance with King & Associates Insurance, 615-321-8121, tkinginsurance.com.
Okay, check it out. We've got an accident 65 in the southbound lanes at Trinity Lane, exit 87. Also in Hermitage 40 westbound, the off-ramp to Old Hickory Boulevard East. That's a crash that's partially blocking the off-ramp there. And if you're traveling 65 northbound side at the off-ramp to Harding Place, exit 78, also that ramp is partially blocked by an accident. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, Sam just hit me with just a real quick headline on that because I think this is so funny and so typical. So apparently Mayor Mamdani out there in New York and the New York City Council, I guess, they have snuck in raises. Stop me when you've heard this before from the Senate, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So in New York, where Mamdani is, of course, everyone's favorite communist, right? Apparently they snuck in raises in a piece of legislation, and this happened here in the last day or two?
Yeah, so the New York Post has it. It was apparently put in yesterday. I'm going to check here in a second to see if it was approved in any way. But it was a bill to approve a 16% pay raise for city council members, increasing their salaries from $148,500 to $172,500. And the incoming Mayor Mamdani would see his salary rise from $258,000 to nearly $300,000.
Oh, my gosh.
So you make almost as much as the president to be the mayor of New York.
Well, and he's going to destroy the city of New York as well. We'll have
President
to see.
Trump doesn't take his paychecks, so.
Yeah, he don't.
You know what? Mamdani should do what his buddy Donald Trump does. And
take the dollar a year.
He ought to donate it to the police force is what Mamdani ought to do. Did you hear that he came out in support of New York's police department?
Yeah, for a second. He also posted a
It's
video.
kind of squishy.
He posted a video the other day with a trans activist talking about how they're going to make New York City a safe haven for trans kids. So he's kowtowing to everybody right now. But the second
is that what he's doing? He's like kowtowing not only to the police but the trans kids and
I'm
the
everybody's
trans community.
friend. I'm the people's mayor.
Yeah. All right.
Clown.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But people were upset because he came out and he did support the NYPD. And I don't know if he's trying to backtrack on that or, being a very, what's the right word? Like just sort of embracing them or endorsing them, falling obviously short now that he's the guy in charge eventually of defunding the police, which is obviously what he wants to do. He can't really do that by himself anyway. But I do find it interesting where you have Mamdani where, and we've kind of seen this, and I'm not making comparisons, okay? But, there's some people like Mamdani where they talk big. And we've seen this with people in the Trump administration. You folks know that this is true. Just go with me here. So within the Trump administration, you've got Pam Bondi, you've got Dan Bongino, and you've got Kash Patel. By the way, in the news today, rumors that Donald Trump was about to fire Kash Patel. The president says that is not the case. Maybe I'll get into that here in a little bit. But you had these three, and they kept talking about how if they were in charge of the Epstein files and all of this stuff, I mean, it was like ad nauseum for years. And so then Trump says, okay, let's put you in charge and see how you do. And I think that we can all agree that they've shanked it when it comes to the Epstein situation. I'm wondering if Mamdani is going to, and I'm not comparing the two, but I wonder if Mamdani is going to be kind of the same thing where, he talks about, we're going to defund the police and, we're going to spend billions of dollars for, trans surgeries and procedures, and we're going to raise the taxes on the rich people of New York and, all of these things that he wants to do. And it's all a lot of words until you get into office. You get put into office, and then all of a sudden you've got to do all of the things that you've promised to do. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. He made a lot of promises. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very disappointed in what ultimately happens because, number one, he can't do everything that he wanted to do because you've got to go through, the city council, you've got state legislators, you've got the governor. The mayor can only do so much by himself. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how that whole thing plays out. This is Calvin on Super Talk 99.7. Calvin, go ahead. By the way, it is open line to Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Whatever you want to talk about, go ahead and call right in. Calvin, what's up?
I was just going to say, I guess the left has lied to us again. They said no one was above the law, but it's looking like Letitia James and James Comey's heading in that direction of being above the law, and it just sickens me.
I would, Calvin, I appreciate the call. Remember that case, and I had a big, long conversation with Jonathan Fahey about that yesterday. The cases against Letitia James and James Comey, they were, I guess it's the right word is dismissed, but without prejudice. In other words, they can bring that right back. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump, I need some video here if I could. Donald Trump talked about two things on Air Force One. He talked about, because Comey is out there, I don't know if you've seen this. James Comey is out there running a victory lap saying, I told you that I would prevail and all this kind of stuff. Basically, the cases were dismissed by a judge because the judge said that Lindsay Halligan was unlawfully appointed. And so, but the judge did say that I am dismissing this without prejudice, which means that the Trump administration can just sort of reset and start all over again. This is Donald Trump aboard Air Force One. And by the way, if you want a lot more on that, Calvin, check out the podcast page because we did do a big interview with Jonathan Fahey on that yesterday, that very topic. And basically what Fahey says, and he's a highfalutin lawyer, is the president and his administration, they can just bring this right back, going about this another way and with another person. But Donald Trump was asked about just that, about whether or not Kash Patel was going to get fired. The word is, and I don't know, I didn't pay real close attention to this story. I don't know, Joan, if you did. I don't know if you did, Sam. Kash Patel is in trouble, apparently, according to some, because he's got this girlfriend now. And apparently he was using the Secret Service to protect his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I guess taking flights
true,
on government planes, I guess.
If that's
So,
true, that like either
that's a no-no.
Put a ring on it or stop it. Just
Put a ring on it.
Well, if it was his wife, we wouldn't have any problem with that, right? Am I right?
I guess not.
Okay.
I guess you're right. Okay, Joan, you're right. I was more laughing at the put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Just because that's like from the 60s.
Because I'm so hip. It is?
Put a ring on it? It's from the 60s. This is what Donald Trump said about Kash Patel. Are you going to fire Kash Patel? And also, what about James Comey and this victory lap?
Are you planning to replace Kash Patel as a
No, he's doing a good job.
This week,
Kash Patel? No, he's doing a great job, I think.
this week we saw those cases against James Comey and Letitia James tossed out. Do you still have faith in Lindsay Halligan?
Oh, she's great. I think she's great. They got out on a technicality, and you'll see what happens from here on. But if you look at the actual charge.
Actually, Trump is right. That's a great way to put it. It was dismissed on like a technicality.
Yeah,
So
it was about Halligan's appointment, not the merits of any alleged criminal action.
Correct. It was not about the merits.
I think anybody that looks at it very fairly would say, boy, are they guilty.
Especially, I mean, we've gone through the James Comey. We've gone through the Letitia James case. And I think both of them, I believe, says the conservative who supports Donald Trump, I believe they got them both dead to rights. We'll have to see ultimately what happens. I will say this because Mark, I think it was Mark that called up and was complaining about that, thinking he said, Trump said, and everybody says no one is above the law, but it sounds like Letitia James and James Comey may very well be above the law. When it comes to things like this, and maybe I'll ask Brian Wilson this at 7:35 when he joins us, but when it comes to things like this, unfortunately, the wheels of justice, they move very, very, very slowly, sometimes grinding to a halt because we are dealing with swamp-laden lawyers as well. And I appreciate the call. 6:45, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, a bit breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny, cooler, a high of 53, mostly sunny, but chilly with a high of 46 for Thanksgiving. And I appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I opened up the radio broadcast with this morning. We were just kind of bouncing around on a bunch of different topics this morning, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. This is the headline from Newsweek. Aftyn Bain, of course, in the 7th. Today is the last day of early voting. And Aftyn Bain is, according to the Poly Market, the chances of her becoming the congressperson for the 7th Congressional District have plummeted after we got to know Aftyn Bain. Revelations about Democratic candidate Aftyn Bain might make it more difficult for her party to win a special election in Tennessee. Betting odds indicate Bain, a state legislator standing against Republican Matt Van Epps to fill the seat, has seen her stock value drop. According to Poly Market, since all of these videos and all of the past interviews have come out, Bain's chances of winning the election have decreased from 28% on November 5th to 12% on November 25th. So, yeah, I mean, look, obviously this is good for our side. If you're a conservative, I think that is great. We'll have to see what happens next because we do have today being the last day of early voting, and then we have the big day of voting on December 2nd. And so I have been, and all of us here on WTN have been imploring folks, please go out and vote early, vote often, and vote on the 2nd.
Vote often, Dan? You know, you could be charged for that.
Could I?
Yeah. Criminally.
Well, Sam put that in my script. This is Brian in Madison on WTN. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Dan, happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. I listen to you every day and appreciate you.
Thank you.
I want to confess something, though. I kind of lied to Sam.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Sure. Go ahead.
He asked me what I wanted to talk about, and I said various things. Really, you know what I want to talk about? I remember back in the day when you hired Chris Hand, right? Remember that? I'm sure you do.
Sure.
He's a star, dude.
Oh, Chris Hand is a rock star.
Yeah. Well, I mean, under you, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
you know
I
what? The first time, so some great Chris Hand moments. The first time Chris worked as my producer, I was behind the microphone. Chris was sitting in Sam's chair. And he and I started going back and forth. And I knew immediately he was a star in training. And Chris comes from a music background, and he's wicked smart. And so the second I actually gave him the tryout, I think it was a couple of years ago when we gave him the tryout, filling in. And I thought, okay, this dude's got it. Little rough around the edges, but there was there's just so much to work with, and he's done a great job, and people love him.
Well, I, for that reason, I hate that you're not in management anymore because I think of all things you do, which is pretty good, I guess. You've been there a long time. You're a great hire. You put together unbelievable teams. And so that's why I said I lied to Sam. Can I tell you why?
Sure.
Because I think Sam sits in the same kind of seat. I think one day he'll have his own. He's very smart. He's very cordial. Mm-hmm. He's professional. And you already see it. You may not. I'm sure you do.
I see it.
But,
sure. Yeah.
But that kid right there is a rising star. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank y'all and have a great day.
All right, Brian. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Sam, how much did you pay him for that?
I'd put money on it that he did.
I'd put money at what, 10, 15, $20 to pay him off for that, Sam? Is that what it was?
Definitely gave me something to brag about at Thanksgiving tomorrow, Brian. Thank you for that. It was very kind.
Thanks, Dad. Sam, you know I'm just kidding.
My dad's name is Paul.
Whatever. All right, it is.
You have a brother named Brian, though, don't you?
Nope, his name is Noah.
It is 6:50 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've been playing. I love that Mike Johnson was able to call into the radio program for Matt Murphy. Another great hire. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. I also hired Joan Jones before she quit and then came back.
Right.
Anyway, so I do like that Mike Johnson, again, he did call into the Matt Murphy show yesterday. And they talked about how we really do need to bring in Matt Van Epps for the 7th Congressional District. This is part of what he had to say regarding what Donald Trump is trying to do and what is going on in Congress right now.
Listen, we got to get reinforcements. We need Matt Van Epps to join the team here because this guy is pure Tennessee, man. He's pure Nashville. We love him. He's a husband. He's a dad. He's an America First patriot, a combat veteran who is going to help us to continue to deliver secure borders, safe streets, lower taxes, a strong economy, peace through strength. We need a West Point graduate, a lieutenant colonel in the Tennessee Army National Guard to join our forces in D.C., and he is the perfect man at the perfect time in history.
So we'll have to see how this whole thing shakes out on December 2nd. I am feeling pretty good. I think that, you know what's interesting? The lack of, what's the right way to put this? Did Aftyn Bain not know this was going to happen? With all of this stuff that she has done over the... Do you know that the last thing that I would ever do, for example, is run for office? Because I know all the dumb things that I've said over the years and done over the years and posted over the years. I would never in a million years want to run for political office. But she, despite all of these things that she has said and done, screaming from the balcony of the state legislature, being dragged out of Governor Lee's office. And she thought that it would be a good idea to run for the 7th Congressional District. And I think that there's a reason why she just squeaked by in the primary, right? She just squeaked by in the primary. Matt Van Epps, he won by what, like 51%? And so you would have just thought that she would understand that once people realized that she was, I mean, she's more than just leftist. I mean, I do believe that she's a little bent. She's just a wackadoo.
Bent. That's a very good word for it.
Aftyn Bain is bent.
You know, like the nail that won't drive straight into the board.
Sure. Exactly.
Which, and to contrast the two candidates even further apart, there was a big field in the Republican Party, obviously, and what did they do? They all got together and they had a bury the hatchet ceremony.
That's right.
I don't hear of anything happening on the other side to that degree, to have that decorum about yourselves, to know that the mission is bigger than your position within it.
And as a matter of fact, Matt Van Epps brought the hatchet in.
So cool.
Everybody signed the hatchet. I think that's great.
And he was wise enough to have a blade guard on that thing when he handed it to you.
You know what's so funny? Did you see when he brought that in? Did you see what I did? The first thing that I did, I touched what I thought was the blade.
Okay, Dan.
And he actually said, "It's a good thing I've got a blade guard on there, Mandis." Yeah.
Hey, when the stove gets orange, that means it's hot.
It is 6:54, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan's got the news coming up at 7. Joan.
Yeah, the Pentagon has decided to investigate Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. We'll explain coming up. Also, if you don't know there is an election, can you win an election? I've got that story coming up here as well at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 6:54, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Okay, so you know what's about to happen, right? We are supposed to have Thanksgiving tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And after that, we've got Black Friday, and it is a full-on sprint towards Christmas. Now, listen to this. Contours, my friends at Contours, they want to offer you a really unique but really cool gift idea. They are offering you a belly buster special and a facial, both for just $149. Now, you know what that belly buster special is all about. It's going to help you lose a couple of inches across the middle. And you are going to also get a facial to take care of some of those fine lines, both for just $149. I'm telling you, this is a great deal from Contours. You're one of the first 10 callers right now. Call them at 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. If you're one of the first 10 callers right now, you get that belly buster special and the facial for just $149. It is the Dan deal from my friends at Contours, utilizing that red light technology. As far as that belly buster special goes, it is completely non-invasive. It is painless. It does involve no downtime. Their unique red light technology is considered to be far safer than other methods widely available in the market that kills or removes fat cells. Check them out online. It is ContoursLLC.com. ContoursLLC.com. First 10 callers right now, 615-236-9960. All you've got to lose is inches.
Good morning. It is now 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Buckle up. The Pentagon is now investigating Arizona Senator Mark Kelly for what's being called the Seditious Six video. Retired Navy JAG officer Cully Stimson on Fox News.
Believe that it's possible that Captain Kelly, retired Captain Kelly, who is subject to the UCMJ under Article 2, committed a crime, and so they're going to investigate that. And regardless of whether that proves to be true or not, the fact is that this video undermined good order and discipline. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were essentially wink, wink, nod, nod, telling members of the military that they should reflexively doubt the legality of the commander-in-chief's order.
Also, the FBI is contacting the other Democratic lawmakers who appeared alongside Kelly in that video. Well, it's hard to win an election if voters don't even know there is one. Casey Crosby is co-chair of the Republican National Conference, speaking with Matt Murphy yesterday.
I've been privy to some data that, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, people in the district did not even know that there was a special election going on, let alone the date.
Recent polling claims that Republican Matt Van Epps is leading Democrat Aftyn Bain by 8 to 10 points. Today, by the way, is the last day of early voting, and then the special election is being held on Tuesday, which is December 2nd. The nation's airports starting to see some flight delays now on this day before Thanksgiving. This woman spoke to Channel 4 about getting to BNA 4 hours early for her flight.
I am very surprised that there's not a huge crowd here. About a 10-minute wait at baggage claim.
And Channel 4's Jordan James on this request from BNA.
Picking up someone from BNA, the airport is asking you to wait in the cell phone lot off of Murfreesboro Pike. That will help with some congestion issues.
Now, today and Sunday are the days that are going to be or expected to be the heaviest day for travelers on the roads for Thanksgiving. Expect to see troopers every 20 miles on the interstates. And Metro Police have arrested a man, charged him with writing racially charged graffiti found on a basketball court at William A. Pitts Park in South Nashville. It happened 3 times this month. The suspect is named Newsdar Hamdoun. He's 28 years old. Metro Police say that Newsdar Hamdoun used chalk to write the racial slurs, and that chalk was found in the back of his car. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We've got stock futures pointing up with the Dow futures plus 40, NASDAQ futures up 85. The S&P futures are up 14 points. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Things starting to jam up on 24 westbound side in the Laverne area. You've got an accident as well at the off-ramp on I-40 westbound, off-ramp to Old Hickory Boulevard East, and the off-ramp is partially blocked off because of it. An accident at 6th Avenue South and Lafayette Street, Also an accident in Ridgetop on Bethel Road at Liebengood Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:06 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Want to welcome on into the program from the Heritage Foundation, Brent Sadler. Brent, appreciate having you on this Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And a lot of talk about we possibly might have some sort of a peace deal in the works between Russia and Ukraine. I want to kind of go backwards a little bit. I thought it was interesting. There was this 28-point peace deal, idea, working document that was leaked. And there's a lot of question as to whether or not Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, even knew what was on this sheet of paper. He then came out and said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Marco Rubio came out and said, not only is this really from the State Department or our government, but he also knew all about it. People were wondering because it was so Russian-centric what was leaked. And people were saying, well, this has to be just, some sort of talking points for Russia. But from what I understand, it actually wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, it's less about that, the history of the document. The fact is, someone leaked it, definitely was trying to probably slow down or discourage the negotiations for the ceasefire. The reality is both sides are going to have to give up. Neither one's able to win the war and get all of their wartime aims accomplished. For Ukraine, it would be regaining all of the lost territory since 2014. With the military they have and what Europe and the United States can give them to fight that, that's not looking very likely. The Russians, likewise, the reality is they're just chewing through their people like there's no tomorrow. And if they keep going at this rate, there may very well be no tomorrow for them. And so both sides, I think, are coming to the conclusion that they got to make a deal. We're getting these leaks here and there and little dribs and drabs. It's kind of a classic DC game, but it's played in the diplomatic circles too. We're seeing the sausage being made, but what really matters is what's the deal at the end. And there's a few things that it has to accomplish. And the number one goal for American interest, it's got to be a sustainable peace.
Okay, so I'm glad you ended with that statement, because here's my question. Hasn't there things happened in the past with Russia where they have signed on to peace agreements, but then they just decided because an administration changed or a leader changed that they decided that the previous peace deal was then null and void, and they turned on their aggression again?
Yeah, the Minsk Accords come to mind, but the Chinese do the same thing. I mean, the reality is, in the real world, you have to trust but verify. And at the end of the day, it's the size of the hammer that you have that keeps people in accordance with any treaty or any contract that you sign between independent nation states. And so unless that hammer is ready to be used, folks like the Russians are not going to necessarily adhere to it. So it has to be a sustainable peace. The only way you get to that is for the Ukrainians as well as the Russians, that line of control where the fighting stops. And in the interim, until a formal border is acknowledged or agreed to, it's got to be such a situation such that if the Russians decide to reinitiate hostilities, it's going to come with so much risk that they'll be deterred from doing so. And it really matters where that line is. And so it's good to see Secretary of the Army, the Chief of Staff of the Army have been traveling to Ukraine to see with their own eyes, to hear from the Ukrainian military folks where are the most defensible and where's the risk if they give up too much territory along that front, or where they shouldn't give up any ground.
Well, and that's the question. It seems to me, as I'm watching this from afar, that both sides seemingly have no willingness to give, right? So Crimea, I should say Ukraine, Zelensky wants Crimea back. He doesn't want to give up Luhansk. He doesn't want to give up the Donetsk regions, and I may be mispronouncing these areas. But they're refusing to give up some of the land that they've already lost, including Crimea. And Russia wants not only that land officially to be theirs, but also there's, in this peace plan, there is also land that wasn't even being fought over that Russia was demanding.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is we're probably going to see something come out of this that's like Kashmir. Neither side, the Indians or the Pakistanis, acknowledge the other side's control over all of Kashmir, but yet largely there's been peace and flare-ups from time to time. So we have to be ready for that potential kind of a peace, never really a full end of the war. Same thing's true with North and South Korea. for many decades after the Soviet annexation of the Baltic states was never acknowledged, but yet we still dealt with the Soviet Union and treated them as if they were a single country, even though we didn't officially recognize the Baltic states annexation. So there's a lot of diplomatic approaches to try to address what could be a long-term but a totally unsatisfying official border, but at least the fighting can stop and allow that diplomacy and perhaps a new kind of détente between the Ukrainians and the Russians to settle in. But again, I come back to the end. You got to have that hammer, that military hammer, ready to ensure that the Russians stay and adhere to whatever agreement is so that the fighting does not resume. And of course, a defensible front line is key in that.
So then the question, of course, becomes, okay, are those NATO troops? I mean, I don't think anybody wants to see U.S. troops on the ground, obviously. And I don't know how many, there's been a meat grinder of a war. That seems to be the phrase. And so does Ukraine have any, how many soldiers do they have left?
Yeah, well, there's an important lesson for us right now from the Ukrainians. They did not take seriously their own defense, and a host of reasons. Corruption, of course, was an acknowledged one for far too long in their governance. They didn't build the military. They didn't build the alliances that were necessary since they got their independence in 1994 from the Soviet Union to ensure they had adequate defense, and now they're suffering the consequences of 10 years of bloodshed and lost territory. So, again, if you don't take your defense seriously, no one else will, most certainly not the United States. None of the NATO countries have either until the invasion in 22 was such an overt threat to the wider European peace that folks started to act. So an important lesson there, and hopefully Ukraine gets enough of a pause to rebuild their military, take a hard look at their governance, and get a government and a military that ensures their own defense and their borders going forward. So it's really on them. Yeah. We can hope and help them get to that, but the reason we're where we are now, bad decisions on the Ukrainian part, but also bad strategic decisions of the last administration, quite frankly, that led us right to Russia's preferred method of fighting, attrition.
Well, yeah, I mean, the sanctions, I mean, Vladimir Putin even came out and said a few months ago, yeah, the weakness of Joe Biden led to all of this, including those very weak sanctions. I guess part of my question would be, is that, okay, so once all the fighting is actually over, then we got to start talking about rebuilding Ukraine and, really what's next for the region. Part of this conversation is, and part of the peace deal is, okay, so does Ukraine still have a chance, a thought, a possibility that they will end up being allowed into NATO? We're going to pick up the conversation there. Got to check some traffic. It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. All right, as far as your weather goes for today, a bit breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and cooler, and a high of 53. As far as your Thanksgiving goes, it's going to be nice, a bit chilly, high of 46 for Thanksgiving. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. All right, so Brent, what do you think about the rebuilding of Ukraine, and specifically, what about the controversy of them going into NATO?
Yeah, I mean, so on NATO, I think it is a sovereign decision of all the member NATO countries. It only takes one. If we recall back to when Finland and Sweden decided to join NATO at the height of after Putin's invasion of Ukraine in 22, it only takes one to veto that. So it's a sovereign issue. It's a defensive alliance. I think any treaty or any obligations to Russia to preclude that is a bad idea and is unnecessary. It also infringes on the sovereignty of the other sovereign countries in world-changing events. So there's that. Should, I think, Ukraine have a security partnership with countries in Europe? I think that's a necessity. That's the only way that we get to a point to where the costs are so high that Russia doesn't reinitiate hostilities in the next few years. So what that looks like, I think that's up to the Europeans, certainly up to our leaders in D.C. to figure out what's workable, but it doesn't have to be a NATO construct to meet that need. The other thing on the rebuilding, absolutely no Chinese presence in this. I think the Ukrainian people understand what China is. Before the 22 invasion, there was a very cozy relationship, perhaps in some cases a little too cozy, between Beijing and Kyiv. I think it's pretty clear that China's all in with the Russians. I think the Ukrainian people would be poorly served if they open the door to the Chinese now, and certainly the United States and NATO countries should not welcome any Chinese presence in the rebuilding. And I think the idea that you're hearing and seeing in these draft documents that Russian frozen assets, a large portion of it, about $100 billion, will be devoted to Ukraine's rebuilding, I think that's the right kind of thinking.
Where are we at with the minerals deal? I know that there was, of course, the agreement that we were going to enter into this minerals deal with Ukraine. Kind of fell off the radar, if you will. Are we getting minerals currently? Do we have to wait till the end of the war? How does that work?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of very good material under the ground there. There's like titanium, there's rare earth, there's neon, there's the grain, which is growing on the ground of Ukraine. Ukraine has a lot of resources, and even in, high-tech stuff, they have the ability to be a very vibrant economy. They got to get to the world economy. And
about a possible end to the Ukraine-Russia war. They're sort of hopefully grinding to at least some sort of a ceasefire. But, there's been a lot of controversy, Brett, about this audit clause and about how the original document, they wanted Ukraine to conduct a full audit of assistance received and create a legal mechanism to eliminate any violations found and punish those who illegally profited from the conflict. And word is that was changed to all parties will receive full amnesty for their actions during the war. I mean, we all know the corruption within Ukraine. There's also a lot of suspicion that United States under Joe Biden gave Ukraine a lot of money, a lot of aid, and of course, a lot of military equipment as well. And is there a concern in Washington, D.C. and among the think tanks that there might be some corruption and maybe some of that money may have been absconded with?
Oh, absolutely. And I would also point out that it's clear in the investigations, the DOJ investigations with USAID, as an example, not the full extent, that a lot of that money, financial, like liquid assets, that can move anywhere easily, a lot of that came back to American interest. So absolutely, I don't think it should not be put in any ceasefire deal with the Russians. I think that's untoward, but definitely doing a full accounting is required. I would say on the U.S. side as well as the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians before and during, they still have a legacy of corruption that they need to address for their own better governance. And certainly if they're going to rebuild better than they were before 2022, it's going to have to address the issues of good governance and corruption so that they actually build a military that's going to deter a future Russian aggression and also rebuild an economy that's going to be vibrant and independent and not be so easily intimidated or coerced by hostile powers.
So what happens? I was talking to a bunch of friends of mine and just a bunch of political nerds and foreign policy, fans and all that. So, we're trying to think, okay, so what is next for Zelensky? Is this going to be the kind of thing where, okay, the books looked a little cooked and he is going to be able to, fly off to some, resort Caribbean island to live the rest of his days while we all try to figure out what in the world happened. But he's not ultimately charged with any crimes, or he goes off and is protected in some foreign land.
No, I think that transparency we were just talking about should spare no one. The last administration in D.C., the current administration, certainly the Zelensky administration, it should be completely transparent. It should be comprehensive in accounting. What that finds, I think, determines what the consequences are, prosecutions or other kind of sanctions against institutions or people. But the other thing to be cautious is often, and again, I follow the Russian media as well as the Chinese language media, be cautious about disinformation or propaganda campaigns. This is one of the levers the Russians do use. So trust but verify is, I think, necessary. And again, another reason why we need to get real, legitimate financial forensics experts, police, looking into these things. and rather than relying on congressional hearings or parliamentarian type debates and discussions, it has to go beyond politics and needs to go to good legal and criminal jurisprudence.
So I don't know how Vladimir Putin's health is, but what is next for Russia?
Yeah, the record on trying to predict what goes on in the Kremlin is a perfect one. It's always wrong. The best thing is Russia will change. Change is the only certainty in life. Putin will eventually depart, even though he says he thinks he's going to live to 150 by changing out his blood and maybe putting other people's kidneys in his body. Some pretty wacky stuff out there. He will eventually pass from this world. It's an open question as to how that changes. I mean, there are certain things that will never change. I mean, Russian people, quite frankly, even if you had Navalny, who was an anti-Putin opposition leader who died in prison at the hands of Putin, even if he was the president of Russia in 2021 to 2022, his thinking, his mentality on Ukraine probably would have led to the same type of war we're seeing right now. So we have to understand what Russia is, and also, but at the same time, be ready to seize opportunities, which will never be perfect, to try to shift them into a better future, less in confrontation and conflict with the West. They'll never be an ally, let's put it that way, but we can do far better than what we've done since the fall of the Soviet Union.
I know that you guys aren't supposed to be political necessarily over there at the Heritage Foundation. Can you, in like 90 seconds, compare and contrast Donald Trump's way of handling this versus Joe Biden's?
Oh, well, absolutely, and not from a partisan perspective.
Correct.
So I lost my mind because I had been watching back in the spring of 2021, so before the actual invasion, there was indication after indication, as purely from a military person, that it was clear what Putin was building up, and it wasn't an exercise, it was an actual invasion. And yet the Biden administration refused to acknowledge that because it was an inconvenient truth, to quote another Democrat from the past.
Sure, from Tennessee.
Yes. So they let this kind of situation develop. And then there was a very infamous press meeting that President Biden gave the end of January of 2022 when he was asked about the potential of a Russian invasion. He said, hey, a little incursion, maybe not a problem. Or I think he actually had a little invasion. I fell out of my chair because it was clear at the time that Putin had several summit meetings with Xi Jinping. He was bolstering his military forces up even more so than the spring. It kept going unabated. And he was trying to make sure he understood what would happen when he pulled the trigger on an invasion. And what he saw that day was the final green light. And so words matter. And so Biden's position of his administration was very ill-advised on all fronts. But then what they did after is they kept it what I would call a tail chase. They would, at the fear of escalation, they kept pacing Russia's build-up and heightened conflict in Ukraine. And what that did is it didn't impose enough cost to stop the fighting and end the war when it could have happened in the first 6 months. And now we're in this attritional war. So they didn't listen to the military leaders. Their diplomats that they were listening to didn't understand Russian strategic calculus. And this is why we're in the situation now. Now, juxtaposed to Trump, being very explicit and clear, sometimes with less than diplomatic language, is the most effective diplomacy. And this administration has been, and I think it's in President Trump in his person, not necessarily some of the others, as it should be, has been very effective. And I think he got Putin to get on a plane at least once to Alaska at the threat of secondary sanctions on China and India, two of his big economic benefactors. One would say China is also militarily, supporter as well.
Yep.
And then almost got him on a plane again to go to Hungary to meet because of the threat of these sanctions or the threat of weapons going to Ukraine, tomahawks. So, his diplomacy has been effective, but at the end of the day, it's, do we get a lasting peace that addresses American national interests? We got a potential war in the Pacific right over the horizon with China. That's the one we need to get a pause on this, build up our arsenal, and make sure that we can stand down the Chinese before a war breaks out there, because that will be a multi-year war that will be killing Americans, directly affecting our economy and our way of life for several years. That's not going to be a short war either, but it's preventable still. But we gotta disengage smartly and refocus in the Pacific.
Brent Sadler, a great information, and hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again soon. And fingers crossed on Russia and Ukraine, right?
Absolutely. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, you too. See you later. You know, it's so funny, Joan. Happy Thanksgiving. We're about to go to war with China. That's not exactly what he said. But
Hey, let's all talk about it around the Thanksgiving dinner.
you know what? That could be nice, good political talk.
I think that we should skip the war with China discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what we ought to do? If you've got like some liberal relatives that are like coming in, maybe what you do is you put like a little shirt on the ham that says "Make America Great Again." Wouldn't that be funny? Like a "Make America Great Again"
Maybe like
ham snuggle thing.
The napkins should be the red "Make America Great," or even the napkin ring should say "Make America Great" on them.
Yes. I mean, what could you do to trigger the liberals coming over for Thanksgiving dinner?
Or you know those little sometimes when you make a presentation of a turkey and you have the I don't even know what they're called, the things on the feet, the paper things on the feet.
Yeah, the little paper things on the feet.
Yeah. They should be like
I think that'd be funny.
red, white, and blue. And yeah.
And then when you go over to their house, they can have like "Make America Trashy Again" if they're looking for a Democrat to come into the White House. All right, thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm enjoying that.
728, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. This November, this month, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they're serving up big savings and big gratitude. Now, if you've got a clogged drain, don't wait. Get their 93 or free main line opening special. That is right, only $93. That offer is valid for single-family homes only and for this month only. And by the way, here's where the free comes in. If they can't figure out what is actually going wrong, if they can't figure out what is actually clogging the drain, that service is free. So don't forget, if you've got a clogged drain, don't wait. Get their 93 or free mainline opening special, only $93. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Find them online anytime. BusyBeehVAC.com. By the way, if you are in Mount Juliet or around Mount Juliet, don't forget that Busy Bee, they've got that big coat drive going on in the parking lot of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce from 4 to 7 on Sunday, the 30th. I'm actually going to be out there dropping off some coats myself, so maybe I'll see you out there. The coats collected in Mount Juliet will go to needy Mount Juliet families. It is 7:29 on WTN. Hey, you know what's coming up? Wednesdays with Wilson. Brian Wilson coming up here in just a few minutes. Always brought to us by our friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Right now, they've got the July special going on. I should say the November special going on. The Big Daddy Trump special, $12 for a comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment, only $12. So if you've got back or neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, etc., well, they can help you with their state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression therapy, no surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. Check them out today at 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. Painisbad.com is the website, and don't forget, $12 gets you a comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. No surgery, no spinal injections, no painkillers. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
Good morning now, 7:34. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Heading over the river and through the woods today for Thanksgiving. Well, you can expect lots of company on the roads, and Tennessee Highway Patrol posted every 20 miles on the interstates. Here's Colonel Matt Perry.
We need your cooperation to achieve our goal. I'm asking every single driver to commit to 3 things: buckle up, slow down, and don't drive distracted. Check your speed, put your phone away, and always ensure every passenger is properly restrained.
Today and Sunday expected to be the busiest days on the roads. Vice President J.D. Vance bringing his entire family to Clarksville. They'll be celebrating Thanksgiving early with troops at Fort Campbell today. The Vance family will have lunch with the troops, and then the vice president will give a speech. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. So we have a crash on 40 westbound at the off-ramp to Old Hickory Boulevard. Been there for a while this morning. The exit, that's 221B, by the way, off-ramp partially blocked off there. 65 northbound side, on-ramp from Harding Place, exit 78. Another crash that partially blocks the on-ramp. You've got a crash as well at 2nd Avenue South, south of Lafayette Street, and another one this morning at 6th Avenue South and Lafayette Street. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.38 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Brian Wilson joining us. It is our favorite turkey, Brian Wilson.
Oh, man.
Hey, gobble, gobble, everybody.
I'll tell you what. Listen, Brian, I can only imagine the big old turkey spread at your house. And if you do your turkey the way you eat your steaks, I think it's going to be an amazing day.
Cabana Wife is actively working on the turkey now. There's a process called brining, which you have to do with
brining. Is that brining?
Well, I see. And every time she says brine, I go, what? And she said, no, I'm going to brine the turkey. What? Anyway,
she's going to brine you.
Yeah, but anyway, we look forward to it, and I'm doing the stuffing, the dressing, not stuffing, dressing, and my famous world famous cornbread dressing will be on the table.
Sure, I hear it's amazing and legendary, especially amongst the.
People still ask me for the recipe, and it's still on the Fox News website from way back in the day.
No kidding.
Just go Fox News, Brian Wilson, Thanksgiving dressing, and it'll pop right up.
You know what's going to happen right now, Brian, is Joan is going to look this up and correct you on how you make your dressing or stuffing. That's what Joan does.
She can't because it's perfect.
And it's personal. Recipes are personal.
All right, let's get down to business, shall we? Brian, do you believe that in the news today, you've got Newsweek now with a big old headline basically saying that the Aftyn Bain revelations now is blowing the Democrats' hopes of winning Tennessee to smithereens because people realizing now that Aftyn Bain is bat crap crazy.
Well, hold on a minute on all this because I'm worried about this race.
Yeah.
There's a new poll just out from Hill Emerson. Van Epps 49, Bain 47.
Okay.
Now, that's a lot closer than it ought to be the way that district is carved up.
Now, I absolutely agree with you. Now, here's my question. When was that poll done? Because a lot of
a couple of days ago, over the last, it was just released this morning.
So a lot of these revelations that have come about with Aftyn Bain, they have been in the last couple of days. And so
look, I mean, she's got real problems here, but I mean, here's
so do the Republicans, though. So do the Republicans.
Yeah, that's true. But I'll tell you what I think the real problem here is that the Democrats are motivated on this because Democrats right now are angry, and angry voters go to the polls and cast their ballots. And we're all, on our side of the equation, we're generally pretty happy with the way things are going, perhaps not paying as close of attention, not as motivated to go vote. And I think this thing is up for grabs, and I would not be taking it lightly. And I think these polls this is a public poll, they're also, private polls. And I'm sure that when the Democrats saw the polling on this, they decided we better crash the boards on this. She might actually be able to pull this off. I think Van Epps will squeak it out. But I think, we cannot be lackadaisical about this. We, on our side of the equation, need to get out there and vote, and today's the last day of early voting.
Yep. What do you think about the poly market? Because it is the poly market that is saying that Bain's chances of winning the election have decreased from 28% on November 5th to 12% on November 25th. And what they're saying is that with all of these crazy videos being dragged out of Governor Lee's office and yelling at the state legislature from the balcony and all of the crazy things that she said about hating Nashville. And
I
it has an erosive effect.
And I think that's all true. But here's the thing that I would say is that it doesn't matter how people feel about it. It matters who gets out to vote. And we just can't take a chance here. We cannot have this woman, this wackadoodle, as our congressperson.
Wackadoodle. I call her wackadoo. Wackadoodle is good too. And I do wonder if she realized when she started all of this that she would be putting herself into a situation where she was embarrassed on a national stage. Even some liberals are looking at this, like her refusal to admit whether or not she would defund the police. They're looking at her a little cross-eyed.
Yeah. Listen, she would be a disaster as a congressperson. She's a little bit of a whack job. It seems to me she's just, when you listen to some of the things that she says and the way she comports herself, she's really out there. I mean, she's really out there. From one standpoint, as somebody who covers politics, it'd be fascinating to see what happened, and it'd give us plenty to talk about, but I'd rather not.
Well, the thing, and then we'll move on after this, but the thing that I have said, because I agree with you, Republicans cannot get lackadaisical in the 7th. And so part of what my justification is for not getting complacent in all of this is that you're talking about a political party that did elect Jay Jones in Virginia as the attorney general, a guy that said he wanted to, shoot children and pee on their graves. So I don't know if
it
there's...
can happen.
I don't know how low, or if there is a low for the Democrats. All right, let's move on from there. You told me yesterday that I have got to watch this documentary, age of disclosure. I'm going to try to get it done. I've got no shows, Brian, for 4 days, which never happens. And so I may try and watch it.
You've got to watch this documentary. And now here's the problem. It's some of this stuff has been out there, but the director did a great job of putting all this information together in a very compelling way and adding new stuff. And it's about whether or not there are UFOs. And listen, you watch this thing and you're going to hear from 34 really, really smart people. I mean, we're not talking about hillbillies with missing teeth. We're talking about the Secretary of State, people who served as an admiral, who served in the Navy, and they lay out that we are not alone in the universe, and that we are. That this has been going on since the 40s. The United States has had a program of retrieving crashed UFOs and reverse engineering them. And that everything from that you've ever heard from Roswell and 47 on is likely true. That there really are people, visiting us on this planet. And when you walk away from that, you go, I can't believe it. But the one thing, if I may, there's one clip that I want to play for you about an incident that occurred at Holloman Air Force Base, and the source of the information is former President George Bush, who also, remember, served as director of the CIA during the Ford administration. Listen, it's about 45 seconds, and it's pretty compelling.
With former President George Herbert Walker Bush in 2003, in which he told me that when he became the CIA director in the Ford administration, he was not briefed on the legacy UAP crash retrieval program, but he later found out about it, and he informed me that there were a number of crash retrievals that had taken place since the mid-1940s. And he also informed me of a UAP event that took place at Holloman Air Force Base in 1964, where 3 UAPs approached the Air Force Base. One of them landed on the tarmac, and a non-human entity deboarded the craft that landed and interacted with uniformed Air Force and civilian CIA personnel. And when he asked for more details, he was told that he did not have a need to know.
Wow.
I mean, this guy is Eric Davis. He's an astrophysicist who, they've checked out his background, actually worked on the UAP retrieval program. And you will see people who are incredibly credible look you straight in the eye and say, I have seen alien beings. And I mean, these are not wackadoodle people. These are very, very respected people.
So why won't the government come clean?
Well, it really comes down to this battle that we have going on, if you believe what the documentary lays out, and I do, that we have retrieved, the Russians have retrieved, the Chinese have retrieved. We're all actively out there in sort of a secret Cold War to reverse engineer this stuff, because the country that gets it first will have a huge military advantage. And it's like, they say, it's like the Manhattan Project on steroids, and it's been going on for years. And if we reveal what we know to the American people, we are also revealing what we know to the Russians and the Chinese. However, there's a word going around. I mean, apparently W. Bush convened several meetings when he was president to discuss whether or not they should reveal it. And they ultimately decided not to. But we hear there's a rumor going around, and a sort of a report going around from the director of this film that indeed Donald Trump and his administration is also revisiting the matter to decide whether or not they should have a disclosure. It would be pretty earth-shattering stuff if they come out. If the president of the United States comes out and looks everybody in the face and says, "Yeah, we've been interacting with aliens since the 40s."
Yeah. Do you think
pretty amazing stuff?
Do you think China and Russia have had their own encounters?
Oh yes, I mean there's a little doubt about that. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I mean there is this sort of secret Cold War. Yeah. And I mean, the stakes could not be higher. If the Chinese get this technology before we do, in fact, there's some people who suspect we have the technology and that we're just sitting on it, And this is apparently incredible space-going technology that we will not reveal because it's sort of our ace in the hole if things go south in a nuclear war.
All right. Fascinating indeed. Also fascinating is the big tunnel project, the boring project. Apparently, they're talking about Nashville to a UT game in a couple of hours via train.
600 miles an hour or something like that. I mean, you got to listen. You know, when things come from any of Elon's companies, I think a lot of things that they say sometimes are aspirational, and then they crash against the rocks of reality. And you know, that may be the case here. The boring machine just arrived, the digging machine, and it's been reconfigured for granite because that's what we have. They're going to be digging through granite.
Yep.
And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough digging, but they don't seem to think it's any problem. This whole region is like that, but they're talking about building, you know, a tunnel to Knoxville, from Nashville to Knoxville. They're also talking about this tunnel from the airport to the downtown area being added over at the new stadium. So, I mean, there's a lot of things in the works, but the machine is here, and we'll find out very quickly whether or not Elon Musk can dig through this rock around here.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be done within a couple of years, right?
Yeah, they will move quickly if they can get through the rock. I just feel like, I mean, the one thing that I'm no geologist, and I'm certainly not as smart as Elon Musk and his people, but the bottom line is, they call it Rocky Top for a reason. It's a bunch of rock around here.
Yeah, and one of the things that they said a while ago is that drilling through the rock actually gives them a better foundation.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. If they can cut through it, it will be a very solid tunnel.
Have you seen the new stadium? You don't come down to Nashville often anymore.
No, but I saw it on TV. I come down more than you imagine. I was there yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But I have seen the video of how it's going. They topped it out.
Yep.
It's coming right along. It really is.
You going to be able to afford to go to a game?
No,
I know I can't.
No, you can. And then the question is, given the way the Titans are playing, do I want to go to a game? But that's a whole different matter.
You know what's so funny, Brian? We get free tickets, and I don't even want to go to a game.
No.
You know what I mean? I could sit on my couch and watch a Titans game. I haven't done it I haven't watched a Titans game in like probably 5 or 6 games, maybe 7 games.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
just that awful.
I watch for a few minutes, then I go, this is just too painful. I have to go on,
All right, very good. Anything else, Brian?
No, except that I hope that everybody has a great Thanksgiving and that your turkey has been brined properly and that you get some good, stuffing, dressing, and you can, again, you will not go wrong if you look up my cornbread dressing recipe.
So what exactly is brining anyway? Like, can you give me like the 30-second?
Apparently soaking in salty water, as I understand it.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you in a week.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on. Well, I'll be on today for Chad Benson, so I'll be on a little later. And by the way, on this UFO UAP thing, I'm going to do a deep dive. I have a lot of clips from the documentary. Documentary costs you $20 to watch, so if you can't afford it or you don't want to spend the $20, or you want to decide whether you think it's worth the $20. Listen in at 1 o'clock today, and I'm going to play a lot of clips from it.
Wait, how do you get the documentary? Is it on like Netflix?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Brian. Right. We'll talk to you again soon, and be sure to listen to Brian today, noon to 3 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN 753 on Nashville's Morning News. And Joan's got the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Uncomfortably close. That is the latest polling in the 7th District special election. Also, a high school football coach is missing. Now he's also a fugitive from justice. That and more coming up at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, and got to tell you how much I appreciate my friends at Vision for Life and Dr. Jeff Horn. You've heard me talk about my cataract surgery at Vision for Life. And again, It's been life-changing. Now, I didn't even realize how much my vision was holding me back until I had clear sight again. Reading small print, not a problem these days. Driving at night, no more halos or blurry lights. Watching TV, working, just being outside. Colors are brighter, details are sharper, and I do feel more confident in everything that I do. And that is all thanks to my friends at Vision for Life. Now, if you want vision correction surgery, this is the company you need to call. That phone number is 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020, and schedule your free consultation today. Again, mention my name, Dan Mandis, visionforlife.com, 436-2020, visionforlife.com. $7:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. All right, so, Joan, everybody wants to know, what was that documentary Brian was talking about?
Yeah. What is it?
Age of Disclosure. It's a documentary.
Age of Disclosure, okay.
It's on, I guess, Amazon Prime, he said.
Okay.
So if you want to watch that, then watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I think Brian gets a nickel for every person that watches it. Hey, by the way, Joan, this is something that I thought was kind of funny. But I'm going to sound a little persnickety.
Okay.
All right. iHeartRadio has now made this guarantee. You ready? Headline. Yeah. iHeartMedia makes the guaranteed human a core branding message across all stations. In other words, all the personalities are going to be, I guess, actual people.
Oh,
which is fine, except what they're not telling you is they've got one person on 1,000 stations.
Right.
See, Joan's got the same reaction that I do.
Like what?
And it's like, okay, it's great that you've got one person in Atlanta, and that one person is broadcasting to 312 radio stations, thereby taking 311 jobs away from other actual people. But whatever, listen, that's the music business. What about disc jockeys and, syndication and all that? Whatever. I'm just saying. See, I knew that I couldn't do this and not sound persnickety.
No, it's okay to be persnickety about it, honestly.
And listen,
not persnickety enough.
It's nothing against iHeart. This is unfortunately the way that the world is these days, including radio, there's autumn. That's why I love WTN, Joan.
Yes.
We have real
live and local
people with all of our flaws, especially mine. It is 8 o'clock coming up next on WTN.
Good morning. It is 8 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. This is the last day that voters can cast a ballot in early voting for the special election in the 7th District. House Speaker Mike Johnson on the choice between Republican Matt Van Epps and his challenger on the left, Aftyn.
This is what happens. The reason that you get these radical leftist candidates elected in these one-off elections around the country is that just common sense conservative regular Americans are not paying attention in these special elections. We got to make sure everybody knows.
Speaking with Matt Murphy there yesterday. Now, while early voting will end today, you can still vote in person on Tuesday for the special election. Also, an uncomfortable read on the outcome of that election. An Emerson College poll of likely voters released just this morning has Matt Van Epps winning, but only by 2%, which is within the poll's margin of error. President Trump won the district by 22%. Turnout here is going to be a big factor. Other news, Tennessee expected to break a record for Thanksgiving travel this week.
AAA says a record 1.9 million Tennesseans are going at least 50 miles away from home this Thanksgiving. 1.8 million driving, 51,000 are flying. Peak congestion is expected today and Sunday, so plan for delays. Experts recommend traveling early in the morning or late at night to avoid the worst traffic. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
And those who are driving are catching a bit of a break.
As for the roughly 73 million people hitting the roads this Thanksgiving, some good news. Gas prices have dropped below $3 a gallon in 29 states, nearly the lowest prices in 4 years.
But storms are greeting some travelers. That was ABC's Rena Roy. By the way, blizzard conditions are possible in parts of the country. Still no sign of Travis Turner, the head football coach at the Virginia high school, who disappeared last Thursday when police were headed to his home to speak to him. ABC's Mola Lengi says he's now considered a fugitive.
Turner, the head football coach at Union High School for nearly 15 years, was awarded the 2021 Prep Football Coach of the Year. Now considered a fugitive, wanted on multiple counts of possession of child pornography and using a computer to solicit a minor, according to state police. Authorities say Turner disappeared as agents were heading to his home on Thursday during the early stages of an investigation.
And Virginia State Police are saying there are more charges pending. Americans are now getting priority at the nation's national parks. The Interior Department saying that starting January 1st, it'll charge the millions of international tourists who visit the parks $100 per person. It'll stay $80 for Americans. And international visitors won't be able to take advantage of fee-free days either. They'll be reserved solely for Americans. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. Online at beaconcm.com. Stock futures up. The Dow futures plus 109. NASDAQ futures gaining 123. S&P futures are plus 22. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:03, Nashville's Morning News. Mark Spain Real Estate. Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate. Get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You're going to save time, make the most money, and eliminate all that hassle as well. Dan Mand is here. You know, I always recommend Mark Spain Real Estate to my friends here in Nashville because I know that they are going to trust, they're going to sell your homes hassle-free with a strong all-cash offer. As a matter of fact, with Mark Spain Real Estate, they are the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. You can trust my friends to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. They've been helping homeowners sell their homes for nearly 30 years. And yeah, they've got over 72,000 satisfied clients. So check them out today. Their real estate market is changing. So if you need to sell your current home to move into your dream home, Mark Spain Real Estate, they can help you with that guaranteed offer, and you can control when you move. 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. Visit markspain.com. Start packing.
Okay, we've got some problems on 65 this morning. The northbound on-ramp from Harding Place still jammed up by a crash, and it's partially blocking that on-ramp this morning. And south side, 2nd Avenue south of Lafayette Street, there's an accident scene there as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.808 Nashville's Morning News. Joan, do you remember the whole Slender Man thing from way back when?
I do.
So you know that one of the stabbers, if you don't remember the story,
This is a crazy story.
Years ago, where 2 teenage girls, were they both trans?
No.
Sam?
Well, when this happened, they were just normal
They were
teenage girls.
12-year-olds.
So they're 12 years old, so they're trans now.
They are. One of them
is.
So the one that is trans, Morgan Geyser. So these two girls, 12 years old, lead a third girl into the woods and stab her.
Yep.
Almost to death.
Yep.
I mean, if she didn't drag herself out of the woods, it's amazing that she lived.
And they did it all in the name of this Slender Man.
Mhm.
And this Slender Man, a creepy fictional character.
From a video game. I played it. It was one of those jump scare tactics. The premise was you collect the manuscript of the book of the story of Slender Man while he's chasing you through the woods.
Now, is this game still around?
Possibly. It
Probably
wasn't
on Roblox or something?
Well, no. I mean, a version could end up there, but it got passed around on the internet. Like, you had to get someone to email it to you or quite literally bring a flash drive to your computer to put it on.
So these two girls got caught up in the whole Slender Man thing at the age of 12. They stabbed this girl. Amazingly, she lived. They got caught off to wherever they ended up going to. One of them ultimately, during her time in prison or jail, ends up, of course, becoming trans, right? Big shocker.
They were actually confined to mental institutions.
Mental institutions.
Yeah.
So she became trans in a mental institution?
Yep.
Of course she did. So I guess she escaped.
Yep.
Morgan Geyser escaped, hooked up with somebody else.
She was actually released from the mental institution into a halfway house.
Yep.
And that's where she escaped from. She cut off her monitoring ankle bracelet.
Do you know where they were on their way to before getting caught?
No.
Nashville.
Yeah, this creepy Chad, or I guess they go by Charlie Mecca, 43-year-old individual helped her and was like waiting for her at a church or something to flee to Nashville.
Yeah, the pair, according to Geyser in the report, potentially making their way to Nashville, Tennessee, and they'd taken a bus. So I wonder why they're coming to Nashville. But anyway, off they go back to, well, now what do you do? Is she 18 yet? Because if she escaped from a mental institution or whatever she was in currently, then she's got to go to jail.
Yeah.
She's got to go to jail. And by the way, this whole BS, I don't want to start going off on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, but for the love of all that is holy, really? So 2 12-year-old girls lure a third into the woods, stab her to the point where she could be dead, and they send him off to a mental institution. It seems to me like at 12 years old, they know what they're doing, Slender Man or not.
Yeah.
And I think that they should have been doing some hard time in an actual prison, but whatever. And I realize that at 12 years old, you put him in a juvenile institution, whatever. But all I'm saying is that really a mental institution. And then she goes into the mental institution, and it's there that she becomes trans. I mean, okay, if you're going into a mental institution, you should probably try and avoid all that, if you know what I'm saying, right? And by the way, the looks on these two, they're a little rough.
Yes.
Actually, they're a lot of rough.
Yeah, and you know what? ABC News actually referred to the other individual by their legal male name as Chad Mecca of Madison, Wisconsin.
No kidding.
Yeah, they didn't respect the pronouns. I'm shocked.
They got to be canceled. Oh, speaking of which, the headline from the Daily Mail, and apparently some new Aftyn Bain stuff has dropped. I got to go find that real quick. But this is the headline from the Daily Mail. Joan, I want you to realize this headline from the Daily Mail is like big font kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Trump slams ugly female reporter behind a New York Times hit piece after creepy health rumors. So apparently there was a New York Times piece. Can I just be honest? I don't really pay much attention to this stuff anymore. Clearly Donald Trump does. So this New York Times reporter, Katie Rogers, co-wrote a piece about how Donald Trump, 79, has scaled back his public appearances in his second term compared to his first stint in the White House. The article claims that Trump's attempts to project round-the-clock energy and physical stamina is becoming difficult for the president to maintain. And so the president apparently had something to say about this on Truth Social.
Yeah. Quite the long post highlighting his wins so far in this term, but then he got to this all purposely negative. This cheap rag is truly an enemy of the people. The writer of this story, Katie Rogers, who is assigned to write only bad things about me, is a third-rate reporter who is ugly both inside and out. Despite all of this, I have my highest poll numbers ever, with record-setting investment being made in America. They should only go up. There will be a day when I run on low energy. It happens to everyone. But with a perfect physical exam and comprehensive cognitive test that was aced, just recently taken, it is certainly not now. God bless America and make America great again.
And so, very good, Sam. So apparently, is the problem that Trump called the woman ugly? Is she ugly? I don't want to get to start objectifying women yet again on this show.
Do you remember when he called the one reporter piggy?
Piggy? I laughed at that.
Well,
what?
She qualifies. Was that wrong?
You know what? It's not wrong. I just wasn't expecting that out of you, Joan. It's not very godlike.
It's not.
I would say avoid the pies tomorrow.
Hold on, though. Hold on. It's actually, isn't it perfectly acceptable to describe someone truthfully?
It should be.
Should
right?
be.
But remember, the left hates truth.
Yeah, I suppose.
And factual reasoning.
Anyway, so Sam, I'll let you be the decider as to whether or not this reporter is ugly. But here's the deal: number one, I don't understand why this is a story that is so important with the Daily Mail that it's literally the top of the website in big font. I mean, okay, so Donald Trump called the reporter ugly. Reporters have been calling Donald Trump, Nazi and white supremacist and all that kind of stuff for years. So at this point, I mean, the term ugly, it can either be an adjective or it can be an insult. I mean, whatever.
She looks like she might wear a 3XL.
See? I was right.
Is it the same ugly? Is it the same woman that he called Piggy?
No.
So this is a different woman.
A different woman.
So it's like Piggy 2. What?
More like Piggy 2 tons.
She's
okay. Yeah, no.
wiggly.
Okay, we got to stop.
Sorry.
I love you both.
Sorry.
We got to stop.
It was a great grocery store.
Okay.
It was a great grocery store.
Yes.
All right. You guys want to hear the latest Aftyn Bain?
Sure.
Here's another one. Apparently, this is, they're calling this uncovered audio. Oh, we got to do traffic real quick. 8:15, Aftyn Bain audio coming up next. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, a bit breezy in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny and cooler, a high of 53, mostly sunny, a chilly with a high of 46 for Thanksgiving. All right. So apparently Aftyn Bain has a problem with people praying. This is what the RNC research has tweeted out. You ready? Tennessee Democrat Aftyn Bain, who once brought a transgender pastor to the Tennessee legislature, said it made her uncomfortable to see her colleagues pray. All right, so that's the intro.
What?
I don't know. By the way, got audio here. Listen.
So, for example, on the House floor, we say a prayer every session. Some committees open up with prayer. We also stand for the pledge. And there are also prayer groups in the legislature that meet routinely. There are Christian pastors that have a lot of say and proximity to power in the legislature and dictate a lot of what the power players do. And it is uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. She doesn't like people praying.
Well, see.
Does it make her feel more comfortable if it's a transgender praying?
Yeah, or if perhaps someone from another faith is praying. I mean, I would bet she would never say that in a million years if it was somebody of the Muslim faith or somebody who is Indian and
right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
She would never say that about another faith. It's only Christians.
I'm going to play that one more time. I'm going to play that just to make sure I got the full context. This is Aftyn Bain.
I think, especially as someone who is more secular, I have a hard time when religion is at the core of everything we do in the legislature. And so, for example, on the House floor, we say a prayer every session. Some committees open up with prayer. We also stand for the pledge. And there are also prayer groups in the legislature that meet routinely. There are Christian pastors that have a lot of say and proximity to power in the legislature and dictate a lot of what the power players do. And it is uncomfortable.
I don't know. I'm trying to understand. Did you guys get that power glitch? All right. So we're all sitting here doing our jobs, and then all of us, and I can't be the only one that thought.
Are we still on the air?
They finally forgot to pay the power bill, the light bill.
Oh, I thought God was trying to send a message.
Listen, it's Aftyn Bain that said it, God, not me. Go find her. Yeah, so what is that? I just, can I just say, I don't have any ill will towards anybody. I really, truly don't. I'm a live and let live kind of person. But what is this fascination that these people of this ilk have about transgender? Like, it just feels creepy and weird. Everywhere you turn, they're talking about transgender, which is such a small, microcosmic, small part of our society. And for her to bring in a transgender pastor to the Tennessee legislature, it just feels weird.
Can I just tell you that there is no such thing as a transgender pastor? The two don't exist together in one body. They can make claims, but no.
Yeah, I think part of it is because in the liberal left sense, they transcend humanity. They go beyond the norm of being born into a body.
Trans people?
Yeah, that's what they believe.
They just don't know what the hell they are.
That's what we believe.
I mean, yeah, that is what we believe.
Yeah, but so over there they think that they put them on a pedestal because they think they are, I guess, an evolutionary example of humanity.
Well, there's also the perpetual victim status.
Yes.
And so for Democrats, and here's the funny thing. Like here in the state of Tennessee, all we have done in the state of Tennessee, really, and maybe I'm mistaken on something, but as far as I remember, here in the state of Tennessee, all we have said, or one of the biggest things that we have said, is if you are a child under the age of 18, then you're not going to get any hormone blockers or procedures or certainly any surgeries until you're past the age of 18. I mean, by and large, that's what it is, right?
Yes.
So I don't know why I don't know why transgender folks get this victim status, because by and large, I mean, they can do whatever it is that they want to do after the age of 18.
Did you know that Aftyn Bain's partner has a transgender teenage son?
What?
Yeah.
How old is her partner?
I don't know.
Careful, because I've got a much younger wife. If he's got a transgender, you said adult or teenage son?
Are we assuming that Bain's long-term partner is a male?
Oh Lord,
I don't know. All it says is that her partner has a transgender teenage son, and she's spoken about it. I've heard her speak about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
She has. I mean, she has skin in the game. That's why she's so
passionate about that.
LGBTQ and transgender kids.
Yeah, and she's also on the left, and she's, the left is, again, very passionate about the whole transgender thing. So, here's the deal. We don't understand their fixation with that, and they will accuse us of hatred for the trans community, which honest to goodness, I don't have hatred for the trans community. I hate that what they're trying to do is manipulate kids into becoming trans when, quite frankly, more than likely, they're just going through some sort of a phase at an early age. And so I like that the state of Tennessee is trying to save kids. You want to do whatever thing you want to do as an adult. Again, I'll say for the 1,000th time, knock yourself out, leave the kids alone. Yeah. I mean, if it's that important to them, then they can do it after the age of 18. And they're there's such a long road, and I don't want to go down this road, but there's such a long road of adults who went through this as kids, who were duped by, the medical society and the activists who said, oh, yeah, you think that, at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, oh, you think that you're the opposite gender? Well, let's go ahead and get you some puberty blockers and some procedures, maybe some surgeries. And then they wake up at the age of 20, 21, 22 years old, and they're still miserable.
And then when they do detransition, they are hated. They are
right. That's the other part
by
of it.
the other end of the community when they try to speak out against it. And some of them aren't even saying that, you shouldn't be trans at all. They're saying that they need to wait the appropriate time, just as you pointed out. And to Joan's point, I wouldn't call that skin in the game. I'd say that you're using that kid as a talking point. Skin in the game is having your own kids, having your own family, having something that you have to fight for, blood, tooth, and nail, whatever it may be. She's just taking advantage of her situation.
One of the things I would say is that I don't believe, and, there's a lot of people that may scoff at this, whatever, but you just said, and it is true, Sam, that the leftists and all the people with the agendas on the left, the trans agenda, if somebody does try to detransition, Chris Hand has had people on the air that have gone through this, where the amount of hate and vitriol, if somebody wants to transition back, is enormous. You want to talk about which side hates. Is it the left or the right? I don't hate trans people. I don't even pretend to understand it, but I want them to leave kids alone. That's all I ask, is that you leave kids alone until the age of 18 or above, and then they're adults and they can do whatever they want. But I don't hate these people. But if somebody, and I'm on the right, but if the left, somebody wants to detransition, they hate the person that wants to detransition. So which side has more hatred, the left or the right? It's the left. See what you did? You triggered me. A day before Thanksgiving, I intentionally didn't want to do this.
With all that heat, we could cook a turkey.
Wow, look at Joan Jones.
Oh, deep fry that thing.
Yeah.
With all that heat, we could cook a turkey, sure. So I had an awkward thing that happened during the radio broadcast. I don't want to talk about it now.
Really?
But an awkward thing happened during the broadcast. There's a feature on the iPhone that records what you're saying, and then it texts to other people. So one of us got a text message from the other one that was like 1,000 lines. And I'm horribly embarrassed at what was said in the text message. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. Somebody's got to fix the iPhone, because that is a bad feature. That could ruin relationships.
Right. So it happens when you are just, you've checked your a text message, and somehow you've hit the record button.
Dude,
and it just stays open.
I don't hit the button. I don't hit the record button. I promise you that I don't. It just magically happens. I'm not that old that I don't understand how to hit a record button. I've been doing that for 40 years. And it just... It's recording, and it's recording, and it's recording, and it's recording. Okay, so literally, it recorded my entire monologue. It's at 7:30, and I sent it to Joan, and she's like, "What in the world?" He just sent me a long text. Yeah, but that could have, Joan. Joan, you know how you and I are always bagging on Sam. Mm-hmm. What would happen if it actually recorded that conversation and accidentally sent it to Sam?
Yeah.
That would be really bad.
Somebody did that to me at the last job I had.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they were complaining about me to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they sent it to me instead of sending it to the person that they meant to send it to. Yeah.
Knock on wood, that has never happened to me.
It's eye-opening.
All right, got to go. 828 WTN. Oh, all right. 828 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN Window Nation. Now, I love my friends at Window Nation. I've got 4 Window Nation windows in my home. So here's the deal. We are wrapping up November. And if you are looking for new windows, a Windows upgrade in your home, Window Nation, for the month of November, you could get 50% off all window styles and 0% interest financing for 5 years. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. This is my window company. Now, they measure 3 times to ensure that your windows fit perfectly and, yes, keep your home comfortable year-round. So take advantage of Window Nation's end-of-year sale going on through this month. 50% off all window styles. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Good morning now, 8:33. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. In the push for peace in Ukraine, President Trump now saying he'll send his top envoy to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Official says Ukraine has agreed to a lengthy peace plan after an apparent breakthrough during recent talks in Switzerland. President Trump on social media saying the original 28-point peace plan, which was drafted by the United States, has been fine-tuned with additional input from both sides, and there are only a few remaining points of disagreement.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio, a woman with a family connection to the White House press secretary Carolyn Levitt, has been arrested in an ICE raid. She is Bruna Ferreira. She has an 11-year-old son with Michael Levitt. That's Carolyn Levitt's brother. Boston TV reporter Mary Saladana.
Ferreira was picked up by ICE earlier this month in Revere. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security told News Center 5 Ferreira is a criminal illegal alien from Brazil. She has a previous arrest for battery. She entered the U.S. on a B-2 tourist visa that required her to depart the U.S. by June 6, 1999.
And as far as that 11-year-old boy, Ferreira has never had custody of him. He has lived with Carolyn Levitt's brother and his wife since being born. Nashville drivers brace for the holiday gridlock.
A new report by Consumer Affairs ranks Music City 9th among the worst U.S. cities for holiday traffic, with congestion jumping more than 11% from fall to winter. Drivers here spend nearly 3 hours stuck in traffic during the season, and crash risks rise in both clear and bad weather. Memphis also made the list at number 10, while Tampa tops the nation for holiday jams. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Stocks starting out higher this morning. The Dow Jones Industrials plus 184. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:35, Nashville's Morning News. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. Listen, if you are riddled with chronic back, neck, or knee pain, check out my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They right now have the Big Daddy Trump special, $12 for a comprehensive exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. It's just $12. Now, if you've got back or neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes, they can help you with their state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. No surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. Don't forget the Big Daddy Trump special, $12 for that comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, a well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, 5009. Tell them Dan told you to reach out, painisbad.com.
Looking really good on the roads right now. We have no big delays on 24. Things look really good there. And if you're coming in from the north, just a minor delay at the merge of 24 and 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, so who is this Paul McCartney?
Chicago.
Chicago.
Ugh.
Is this Chicago Transit Authority or Chicago?
The band.
No, the Chicago used to be called the Chicago Transit Authority before they shortened it to Chicago.
Oh.
Huh?
Is that when the stabbings started happening? They had to change their name? People getting set on fire in
He's
Chicago
just being
trains?
a smart butt right now.
So it's kind of funny, Joan. You missed a very funny moment in the off the air.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't even know exactly what happened. We did talk about what happened between you and Sam, and then my zinger, because I'm very proud of myself.
What was it when he said Christmas music incoming, and I said, why didn't you do Adam Sandler's Thanksgiving song?
Yes.
Missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And then Chris said, Sam is probably rethinking every moment of his life right now. And then Sam said, I don't rethink anything in my life or second guess anything in my life. And then I said, well, maybe you should. Do you like that, Joan?
Man.
What a savage. This is what happens when you get Marathon Mandis on 2.5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
That's exactly
with
right.
only 15 hours of work to go.
Listen, all I'm thinking about is the last word that I'm going to utter today at about 1:58 in the afternoon.
What's the last word that you will utter?
I'm out of here.
Mandis, out! Rip off a little Ryan Seacrest.
You should start doing that. You should start ripping off famous closing lines, but don't give it any credence. Like don't refer to it after that. Just move on.
You know what I could do? I could start ripping off all of the talk show hosts that I grew up listening to, right? So, Larry King, what's the question? Right? You see, Joan knows. Joan's old like me.
Or you could do
Rush Limbaugh. I could just start throwing down mega dittos just for no reason at all and just see if anybody, picked up on it. I could pick up a lot of the great Phil Valentine things that he used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Know, throwing down some bovine scatology, which you use.
I've culturally appropriated that.
But listen, if you're going to culturally appropriate anybody, it is Phil Valentine.
Amen.
You could also do you remember Bob Grant from New York?
I know the name.
He used to get really mad at callers and say, get off my phone.
I could do get off my phone. I could do Mark Living. You big dummy. I could do
You
all
big
of
dummy,
that.
Don't drive like my brother. No, not familiar with that.
Do you know what's so funny?
I don't get that reference.
Sam is getting really good at what KGB used to be good at.
Yes.
Completely just
stopping
Oh,
the show.
no, don't
stopping
do
momentum
that.
on a bit.
Don't do that.
We're just kidding, Sam.
Don't do that.
Sam's full of himself because he had a guy call up earlier and said that he was the star of WTN.
Ooh.
He said rising.
Is that what he said?
I'm like
he
a
said
loaf in the
rising.
oven, all right? Got to let that yeast rise.
The cream rises to the top.
What you know about the cream rising to the top?
I don't want to hear the words Sam and rising in the same sentence.
Also, yeast. Let's leave that.
And then if we add moist, it's over.
Oh, we can't. We
No.
can't. Joan, come on.
Sorry.
Got to get that yeast moist.
Hear me going off about the whole trans thing earlier. It is exactly what I did not want to do today.
Just going off of just yelling about trannies.
Yeah, well, trans Aftyn Bain was talking about bringing a trans preacher, is that what it was, into the state legislature.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and
Fun fact, not a woman or a priest.
Yes, that's what I said.
That-
there is no
That's
such
what
thing
Joe
as a
said,
trans
too.
priest.
It's an oxymoron. This is jumbo shrimp. It's neither. It's
an oxymoron with a moron.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I.
You can't be a Christian clergy member if you worship Baphomet like that.
Anyway, so So then, you know what I did today? So then I started going off on the whole trans thing and which side hates more and just whatever.
You were in Amanda's spiral, just losing it.
It was a very controlled rage.
Okay. It's like a controlled burn, like what California needed to do.
That's exactly right. What maybe the Republican Party needs is a controlled burn. Chris has a hot take on the 7th. Go.
I think we might need to lose.
Did you hear that, Joan?
I've heard he's run this past me.
Well, I always clear things with Joan before I take him to the air.
Clearly.
That's probably smart.
Yeah. I said, is this too harsh? Here's what I'm saying. Okay, so I don't want to lose. I think that you need to go out and you need to vote for Matt Van Epps. Aftyn Bain is a train wreck. If we were to lose, I think there could be a silver lining. And the silver lining would be if we lose the majority before the midterms. I don't know how we can do more to motivate conservatives to get out and vote.
Yeah.
Unless we were to lose the majority. I think that could be a saving grace so we don't sleepwalk into a loss in 2026.
Mm-hmm. And that actually makes a lot of sense. I have always said that you learn more from your losses than you do your victories and your failures. And so I think that if the folks of the 7th don't come out, we have pulled out Mike Johnson,
Donald Trump,
J.D. Vance. And so if that doesn't motivate the people of the 7th, I mean, I don't know how many times I've said, if Matt Van Epps doesn't do it for you, then you're voting against Aftyn Bain, right? It's not that hard.
No.
And so if this is what the people of the 7th want, and I don't want to disparage, people in our listening audience, but come on, man.
Come on, man.
This cannot be any easier of a decision. Kid Rock even came out and threw his mighty support behind Matt Van Epps.
Well, then it should be in the bag.
It should be in the bag. Does Kid Rock live in the 7th?
Yes, he does.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Then he needs to go out knocking on doors.
Oh, my God.
Could you
imagine
Can you
that?
imagine? I want to see
Rock
that.
standing there.
That's what they need to do.
Yeah, that's what they need to do.
If you, Kid, Mr. Rock,
Bobby.
Yo, Bobby. He's a pretty good shot. I should shut up. But if you really want to do something to counter the social media nonsense of Aftyn Bain, have Kid Rock and Matt Van Epps together knocking on doors and post it to social media.
With a tablet playing Aftyn Bain's greatest hits.
I mean, we could do so much more than that. You could have Riley Gaines going door to door, too. You could have everybody could be going door to door.
Riley Gaines lives in the 7th.
She slammed her on Fox yesterday.
Oh, she sure did. She sure did. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Bashing Aftyn Bain is a pretty short putt.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a very good way to say it.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. I mean,
it's a layup drill.
Do you know all you need to do? All you need to do is, like the libs of TikTok, just play the video.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. But I would love to see Kid Rock, like, going door to door.
And then you need to, call Fox 17, call Channel 5.
John Rich. John Rich has been out there, too.
Yes, send a camera crew. Hey, somebody, hey, I see Matt Van Epps with Kid Rock knocking on doors in my neighborhood. They'll come. They'll come record it. They'll play it on the news that night.
That would be so amazing.
Come on. This is not rocket science. I don't know why these people don't think of these things.
We need Kid Rock to do it, but we also need him to do it in the Evel Knievel style outfit that he wore to the White House.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Sure.
Now, Riley Gaines does not have to wear that.
No.
She's good with whatever.
Although I don't think she'd be against it.
You don't think Riley Gaines would be against wearing an Evel Knievel outfit?
If it was to help Matt Van Epps win, I can pretty much guarantee that Riley Gaines would be down to wear an Evel Knievel outfit. I'll text her. I'll be like, hey, if we were to get an Evel Knievel outfit
you know what? Text her right now.
You want me to?
Okay, I want you to text her right now and see if she would do. See, you know what just happened, Joan, right? So here's the way this whole thing played out. I want to make sure everybody knows that Chris Hand just tried to big time me, and I'm calling him out.
Oh.
So I've been trying to get Riley Gaines on my show for like years.
She's busy. She's on the school board.
She has been on your show. I think she was on Chad's show, and she's been on Matt's show.
She wasn't on Chad's show, was she?
I think so. I can't get her on my show. And I'm really not that creepy.
It's too early.
It's not. She used to get up for swimming practice at 5 a.m.
She's got a baby. She's up early anyway.
Oh, whatever.
She's up early.
So then Chris tries to big time me. Oh, I'll just text Riley Gaines. I'm just going to start thumbing Riley Gaines. So I called him out and I said, all right, let's see if Riley Gaines will return your text within 3 minutes to 4 minutes that we have left. I want to see how this plays out.
We'll see.
And you know what? If she texts you back, I'm going to be really mad. Can you ask her if she'll be on my show?
I will. I'll do that. That'll be the second question. I'll lead with something easy, and then I'll ask her the hard question
And
after.
that's your Christmas gift.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You arranging to get Riley? Actually, you know what the thing is, though? You guys do such great interviews with her. I don't have anything else to say to her, so whatever.
You just say Happy Christmas.
No.
I'd say Merry Christmas. You know what? Let's get her on. Riley.
Chris is referring to the 1850s edition.
Merry or Happy Christmas? Let's go to the phones. Let's ask Riley Gaines. What does she prefer?
Are we conservatives or not? Are we not trying to conserve tradition? It's Happy Christmas.
How far back do you want to go for that tradition is the question.
They'll get me in trouble.
Because that was
Listen, if we're going to go all traditional and stuff, then do you give your children gifts? Because that is the commercialization of Christmas. How dare you?
I don't give them anything.
You do too.
No.
Your wife does.
No.
Santa does.
Thank you.
Bam.
I have nothing to do with that.
All right, good.
What's wrong with you, Dan?
I'm sorry. I'm going to get fired again.
Hey, an Italian man was accused of impersonating his dead mom in a Mrs. Doubtfire scandal.
All right, so we got some video here on. So
what?
There is a guy.
Oh my goodness!
56-year-old guy in Italy. Okay.
Yeah.
He's accused of impersonating his dead mom, so that way he could keep collecting money from her pension. Do you see the picture?
He looks exactly like his mom.
It is creepy how much he looks like his mom. The son, who is reportedly unemployed, big surprise, began dressing as his mother after she died 3 years ago. He hid the body at their home, the New York Post reported on Monday. The outlet cited the Italian newspaper called Corriere della Sera. And then you got the photo on the stream in case you're watching us on YouTube. Hit like and subscribe. But authorities are calling this the Mrs. Doubtfire scandal.
She looks like Mrs. Doubtfire, and she also looks exactly like her mother.
He never reported his mom's death for 3 years. Imagine the smell.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know what? That's what
Mamma mia, that's a spicy dead body.
That's what I never understand is like people that keep these dead bodies in their homes. Like, how does it not smell?
$61,000 a year was the pension that he was hanging on to. Would you live around a dead body for $61,000 a year?
In Italy?
Italia.
By the way, they also, super based, they just banned LGBTQ plus individuals from becoming parents.
Heck yeah.
2308. Dan, you're a creeper. That's why Riley Gaines won't come on your show.
No. That's not true.
Look, you tell her to make her more comfortable, you will dress very heavily in big clothes.
Okay.
And they call you the rising star.
Yeah.
That was more yeast than star. She text back yet? Big time?
Okay,
Big timer?
Here we go.
Did she text back?
The suspect allegedly dressed as his mother and renewed her identity card at a government office near Mantua after she passed away. However, the ruse did not last because a government worker noticed his manly features.
You would have to think he's got like beard stubble and stuff, right?
No, I mean,
But also old ladies in Italy.
Okay.
They get the hair.
You know what I'm saying?
They do. They get the hair.
Little stubblies.
Yeah.
It was unclear if officials arrested him, but he was being investigated for illegally concealing a body and benefit fraud. He allowed authorities to search his residence where they found the elderly woman's
there's probably
body.
some Italian dudes in a bar that would have hit on him, like if they're drunk enough.
Mamma mia.
That's exactly right. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Merry Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Have you checked your phone yet?
I am waiting.
Okay.
Chris is trying to elongate this bit so that Riley Gaines will text back before the segment ends, which, by the way, the segment is just about over.
That's okay.
You sure?
Once you text back, I'll just be like, hey, you know what? Screw it. Come on my show.
Hey, by the way, if you want to see something really exciting, go to my Facebook. And last night, I don't know what I was thinking, but about 10 o'clock, I posted a video to my Facebook. It is a video of my home studio, which people always seem to ask about. So if you want to see what my home studio looks like, it's where I spend a lot of my time. You can see it right there. Because like radio nerds, there's still some radio nerds out there asking me about my home studio.
A quick home studio tour.
So there you have it. Yeah, it's actually wasn't quick enough. It actually ran about 3.5 minutes.
3:16. 3 minutes and 16 seconds.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 16 seconds. That's exactly right.
Sounds like a big space. Like you get a lot of stuff done.
I get a lot of stuff done. It's not a big space. My wife gave me literally like a corner.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a cove.
It is a cove.
It's the broadcast cove.
That's exactly right. It is. I used to be in the closet. Now I'm in the cove.
It's no dust-encrusted news corner. Closet.
So when did you come out of the closet?
Chris, what do you got coming up?
I'm just reading. I'm reading the mean comments on your video.
Oh,
that's
God.
what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna. No, that's what we're gonna do for starters. We're going through these. We'll talk about air travel. I like traveling in pajamas, and I don't care who knows it.
No.
Oh, don't do it.
I'm with Chris on that.
They're
Stop it.
classy pajamas.
All right, Joan Jones, what is coming up in the news?
We're just moving on. You don't want to rebuttal me?
No, I want to finish this bit so that Riley Gaines won't text you by the time it's over.
Okay, fine.
And by the way, grown men in pajamas is just, you know what the next thing you're going to do? You're going to start dressing like a woman, like your mother.
Oh.
Beard, stubble, and everything.
Beard, stubble, and everything.
Yeah.
You'd have to shave your beard. I'm assuming your mom doesn't have the facial hair.
Merry Thanksgiving, Dan.
No. I think Mom lives in
Joan, what's coming up? Please, let's stop this whole thing.
All right, so BNA has a request from people who are traveling to the airport to pick somebody up. I'll tell you what that is coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.